College Horror Movie Podcast, episode number 95. My name is Dave Z, and I'm joined by, or with...
Hey everybody, this is Christian Luciani.
Or Mike Merriman?
Mike Merriman here. I'm on 15,000 podcasts, and no one listens to one.
And you and Mike Merriman have a lot in common. You guys both fell asleep on podcasts. How about that shit? Talk all the shit you want about Mike.
I love Mike.
I love him too.
Bearded,
What about you,
right?
V?
My name is Veal Lemoy.
No one's going to get that because that's in the pregame shit.
Patrons will.
It doesn't matter. It's so funny.
Veal Lemoy, ladies and gentlemen.
That's like knock knock.
Hey.
No, Brandon here, a.k.a.
Nobody
Grimsby. Wait, what happened? I'm sorry.
Nothing. We love you.
We do. We
Please
do.
leave the show.
No, not yet.
Yeah. Episode 95 is here, and we have 3 movies from our patrons, feature reviews. Go ahead.
I think that intro got worse. It's not becoming even more natural. I think it's actually backtracking.
Well, it's because we do the pregame now, where we record it for Patreon, so we're sort of relaxed, and we're kind of like in the show already for like 25 minutes. So by the time this part comes, it feels forced.
Yeah. Like I'm introducing myself now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, it's okay. And after episode 100, we won't have to worry about that stuff anymore. It's all good. Because we're out of here. Retiring. No, not really, but changes are coming. More on that
From
later.
the public life.
Yes, the public life is definitely dissipating by the day. I was on Facebook today for about 10 minutes. And that's probably 10 times more than I've been on there for 3 weeks. But
You got the thing posted to our page, saving me some time and energy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I had the time. I was in the doctor's office. I was in the waiting room for an hour, and I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'll take this time to go on Facebook and say hello and post the new show, and that's it. A couple snide comments here and there.
Of course.
And
Goes without saying.
Get yourself in trouble before you disappear for another month.
actually, no. Anybody said anything to me, I just gave it the emoji. I love how nowadays instead of just liking something, you can add the thing. Because if anybody says anything and they tag me in it, I just always give them the heart or the laugh thing, and that's it. That's all I got. I don't even have to
Pretty
talk.
much it. Yeah. Yeah. Keep posting them there, Jimbo.
I love the angry face, and I'll use it just randomly for whatever
I've never
reason.
used it.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Just look at that face. It's hilarious. Like he
It's
is
like
so
shit.
he's so angry because he's constipated because he can't take a shit.
That's what happens. Oh, there he is. Hey, and see, he's doing them as we speak. Even Skype has them. Yes.
That was the happy face. I don't have
Yeah.
the angry face stuff.
Do they have the angry face on here?
No, they got this is Brandon blowing somebody.
Yeah, that is the blow face. Yep. Yeah, the blow face.
I love visual.
the sarcastic
on
clap.
audio podcast.
Here's Christian cupping the balls.
That should be listening to your top 19.
This show is becoming more visual by the episode, and pretty soon, hopefully, more people are going to be getting on the visuals. I'll say this about that.
Wait.
And I mentioned this on the
My new
YouTube
thumbnail.
video that a lot of people have seen by now. But I think that our podcast, there's so much to be seen visually instead of just listen to. Where a lot of other podcasts, I don't think that they go that extra mile. And we don't plan on it. It's just our personalities. It is what it is. But I've had patrons say, hey, we love seeing what you guys are doing. And, you know, there's a lot of visual shit going on here. We are an animated trio. We don't just sit there and talk.
It's funny to like see Christian's and my face whenever Dave goes off on a lucky tangent. Like to see like
It's just in the smell, like something like a.
Crushed.
Yeah. Is that cat still alive? No, we love Lucky.
4 months. 4 months as of yesterday. What's today? Whatever. A couple of days ago was the 14th, so he's been around 4 months. He's got a growth spurt going on. Things are good. He's not sneezing anymore. He's eating like a horse. He's doing good, that boy. Only problem is he's all up on Ginny because he never got his nuts cut because he was never really healthy enough to, so I was afraid to put him under the knife. So now he's going after his sister, and she wants nothing to do with it, of course. You know.
Like Brandon.
Believe me, if I had a sister.
But it's all good because
Why
Ginny
is that
can
funny?
leap.
No.
We're laughing. I'm like, wait a second. It's rather creepy.
Well, it's okay. It's from B, so it's
Yeah.
automatically fun.
And I don't have a sister, so.
There's where the comedy lies.
Michael, I'm your sister. How about that one? I love that. We got to get a soundboard. Maybe after this patron thing it takes off. If it does, we'll get a soundboard. Then I can just press a button right here and it'll be.
Wait, hit it.
I'm your sister. You know. Yeah.
Hit the one next to it.
Yeah. Hit
Press
the one
it.
next to it. Me?
Yeah.
I don't have a
press the button.
He wants you to actually pretend like you're pressing the button.
Well, way to go with the fucking joke.
I don't know.
10 the cans and final chapter. You're supposed to go with it. See what the old computer says.
Okay. Well, as long as we're talking, as long as you're going to make a joke about me, Christian, Brandon, don't answer this question. This is only for Christian. Okay. Get ready. One answer on the board. There is only one answer allowed here. Okay. It's a number one answer or you get an X. This is Family Feud. Okay. Canadian Family Feud. So listen to me. Get ready.
What? Do I get a kiss first, Richard?
No.
You kiss all the contestants on the phone.
Richard Dawson.
But he wasn't on Canadian Family Feud. This is Canadian. So this is a different host. Yeah. Okay. So listen now. We're going to pay attention. Pay real close attention. Okay. What is Popeye's favorite food?
Oh, my God. Well, I'd like to say chicken.
Oh, you know about it. Oh. Didn't you posted it in the group? So you saw the video too, right?
Yeah.
Chicken. Chicken.
You posted
Not
it
spinach. She never heard of spinach, this girl. Chicken.
I didn't know that you knew it.
You put it in our post.
You put it in Exploding Heads when you sent it to me.
I forgot that I gave it to you. Oh, why didn't I save it for the show? Son of a bitch. I got so excited when I saw it.
Did I get it right?
Are you going to play it?
I guess so. Well, I'll play it now. That's what got me thinking because he said something about playing something, this, that, the other thing, and I was like...
Dude, she's never going to live that down, but, like, she immediately, like, she genuinely thought that he meant Popeye's chicken.
Yeah, I do get it, but it is ridiculous. And the fact that she did that dance is better. Okay, this is what happened on Canadian Family Feud, everybody.
Is that Canadian or is that British?
It's British. There's no Canadian family.
That's British. That's Les Dennis.
Oh shit. Sorry, there's an ad. Let me do a play after the ad.
The host name is Les Dennis. He's a British comedian.
It's 300 points, which means we're going to sudden death. Give me Logan. Give me Eve.
See, the patrons are going to see the video. You got to see the video.
All right.
I'll play it twice.
Real simple. There's one question. Only one answer. Whoever gets it, you're playing for $10,000. That's it. Whoever guesses this wins the game. Here we go. Name Popeye's favorite food. Chicken! Show me chicken! Spinach, Sherry.
Yeah, spinach. Now watch the girl dance. Hold on. This is for the patrons real quick. Spinach, 54. Yeah. It says Canada, doesn't it?
No, it's British. That's Les Dennis. I think.
Here you go, patrons. Watch.
Show me chicken!
It says Family Feud Canada.
Show me chicken.
Yeah, dude. Look at this. It literally says on the bottom of the fucking thing here, on the floor of the Family Feud, it says Family Feud Canada. So you're saying that there is no Family Feud Canada?
Not that I'm aware of. We don't play fucking stupid games.
No, I think he's actually right.
See?
Yeah, that's not Les Dennis. That's Jerry D.
Oh, Jerry. Yeah, he's a comedian too. He's a Canadian comedian. So I guess it is Family Feud Canada.
See?
Where the hell is that shown?
I don't know. But...
In Canada, my guess.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought it was British too. I thought I recognized the comedian from a British TV show, but it's not him. It's our good old friend over in Canada. Canada.
Oh well, enough of that nonsense.
Yeah.
Okay. It was funny though.
It was funny when he made fun of her too, because he did the dance after. He's like, chicken.
Yes, if anybody wants to see that in its entirety, it's called Popeye's favorite food is ... chicken ? YouTube.com/Family Feud Canada. Check it out. Good
My
stuff.
wife and I saw him years ago, like well before like Last Comic Standing and everything, and he was great, so great.
Who is it? What's his name?
Jerry D.
Jerry G.
D. As
D.
in like D-U, David.
D. Okay, I got you.
D-U, David?
D-
Yeah, that's how you spell David.
dummy.
D-U, David. David.
Anyway.
D-U, David. Is what a fucking prick.
We're acting like we're already just on Patreon, but we're not. This show is out for the public.
We're acting like we don't deserve Patreon support.
This is true. We are. This is true. We're just talking about Family Feud. We're not talking about movies, horror, nothing.
We got a hodgepodge tonight, a potpourri.
We do have a hodgepodge. We do have a potpourri. We have The Strangers. We have You're Next. We have Salem's Lot. All picked by the patrons. And, yeah, that's what we're getting into. Should be a good time, we hope. And hopefully we have enough to talk about to fill a show. Because as I think about these movies, I don't know. Is it just me? Or does it seem like there isn't a whole lot to say about them?
I was wondering the same thing, to be honest, Dave. Today, I'm like, thank God you're on the show, because you always seem to be able to pull more out of it. Because if it was up to me, 3 sentences, each movie, done.
Uh-oh.
I referenced The Strangers in particular as being a movie where there's not really much to say. And you said you had a whole bunch of notes, which is good. I actually have full pages of notes, front and back, for both. But like I said, my note taking is shit. I'm basically just writing down scenes from the movie or laughing at stuff.
Well, which one do we want to start with? The Strangers or Salem's Lot?
Doesn't matter.
I don't care. Whatever it is, it is.
Christian,
Maybe we should go.
You pick, or Dave, you
pick. I was gonna say maybe go by order of release. I don't know.
Salem's it is.
All right.
With it. Let's get Salem's over with because I know how B feels about it.
No, I'm. This is gonna be an interesting conversation because I'm gonna need a lot of positive feedback from you guys to help me on this one. All right, Salem's Lot. Who directed this? It doesn't even say on the page.
Fucking Tobe. What's his name?
Tobe. That's right, Tobe. You know, it doesn't even say it on
the show. Get him off. Cut his mic. Get Watson back on. We have it on speed dial.
The mini. Okay, wait there.
It doesn't even seem like a Tobe movie, though. By the way,
no, it doesn't.
It seems like
there's like one
director.
Couple shots in there. That's it. Yeah.
I guess, but it's like TV
Very
shit.
director for hire. Yeah.
Oh, this is for Scott, by the way, aka Chris.
Scott, aka Chris. Here you go. Salem's Lot from 1979, directed by Tobe Hooper. A novelist and a young horror fan attempt to save a small New England town which has been invaded by vampires.
Yeah, in the last like half hour of the movie.
Yeah, even IMDb doesn't know what this movie's about.
The other part of the movie is literally like following all these characters around town as slowly vampires start to take over the town.
Now, I know this was a mini series, but to me, the way I watched this movie at the end of the 3 hours, I felt like this would have worked if it was like a one season, like 13 episodes.
What, you want more?
Because
longer?
Then they spread it out, and each story focuses on one character rather than 2.5 hours of development throwing it in. I felt like there were like little bits of episodes in here, like the whole Larry and Bonnie episode, you know. And
yeah, which suddenly ended.
What's that?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it ended abruptly. Is all
exactly.
I'm going to say. Larry and Bonnie. Where were they going and why? All we saw was her sitting in the fucking passenger side with a bruised face for obvious reasons. And then for some reason, when that guy saw them pulling away, he put up a fucking sign in the shop saying opening soon. And was that supposed to be a relate? There's a lot of questions in this. This movie's held in high regard, and I am not here to shit on it. But I do have questions. And here's what, okay, B, back to what you said about it being a real, like a series.
Yeah.
I think American Horror Story could handle this perfectly, because you can have like a whole episode. I want to see like I'm thinking of Murder House, okay? I want to see the background of the Marston house and the guy that supposedly did this and killed
Hugh B. Marston. Great backstory.
Yes.
That should have been the whole movie.
That should have been a lot of it.
All the killings should have taken place in that house. 20 different characters should have gone into that house and been killed in various horrific ways.
I agree. Picture this as American Horror Story, like Murder House, the way they did that.
Yeah.
Flash back to the original. I wish fucking seriously, I wish Ryan could get his hands on this fucking thing and redo it for Ryan Murphy's American Horror Story next season, Salem's Lot or Jerusalem's Lot even. And just,
there is some good here though. The problem is it's so spread out with too many characters that don't end up getting like that. There's no follow through on some. And so you do get kind of lost. Like where I was going with it is this was 2 episodes, right? Two hour segments. Where would it have stopped to make you want to come back for the second half? It must have been that first window. I actually can't even remember where I just watched it and I wasn't even thinking of where it would have stopped. Very dated. No. It didn't even feel like a 79. It felt like it came out 10 years earlier.
You know what though? Aesthetically, it was very nice to look at. I still enjoyed it. I thought the camera work was nice. I thought in
places there's some parts they're just talking, regular talk, and the camera was like coming in and then going in, and you're like, why is this camera moving? What's so exciting? And then you realize there's nothing there.
Well, that's the highlight of the movies when someone talks. Is usually it's just staring. I mean, I love David Soul. Hutch is awesome, but he might be the worst actor ever in this movie. This was an absolutely horrid performance by him. Anyone who says otherwise is out of their mind.
You could see all the good bits on YouTube because I will give it this, the scenes at the window with any vampire is fucking creepy.
Oh yeah, the first time
creepy as amazing. Shit. Yes. And I remember my buddy Darren way back when said he remembered this scaring him as a kid, and he would always remember, open the window, Mark. And that, just him telling me about that before I got into horror was always with me. So when I saw the movie, I thought that scene was scary. And it brought a smile to my face when I watched it the other day as well, because I remembered the nostalgia of my buddy watching it as whatever. But the effective scenes are few and far between. But
I have the Fright Night effect that Dave had. I saw it for the first time now. Where if I saw this for the first time, say in '89 when I was 9, 10 years old, this would have definitely freaked me out in those scenes because everyone's like, "Oh, that scene so creepy." Like, well, it's not so creepy now when you see it over and over. But
you have to appreciate it. The first time
I said to myself, this would have scared me as a kid, and even some of the aesthetics would have scared me as a kid. But man, not to even give you a history on Barlow and Straker and really, I mean, come on, what?
I know.
There's nothing going on in this movie.
They spend a lot of time on stuff that they don't have to spend time on. When it would have been better served to spend it on different other information.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have a miniseries, there's other places they could have gone, like the Marston house, like the relationships between him and her, and things that we talked about. I'll say one thing: as a child, this is what's weird. I never sat down and watched this movie in its entirety, but it did used to play on HBO. And I do want to say that for the longest time, you could not even get this in this form. There was like a condensed movie version that was like a regular, an hour and 40 minutes long.
Stephen King prefers that version.
I understand why, but now to buy it on Blu-ray, you can only get it in this version. But I know for a long time it played on Cinemax and HBO and everything in its regular form. But I used to get confused because Nosferatu the Vampire came out in 1979, the remake.
Klaus Kinski one?
Yeah. Yes. Not Klaus Kaczynski, as Jeremy would call him. But Klaus Kinski, 1979. And this, 1979. Now, for whatever reason, because I'm being a kid and I'm flipping through HBO, here's what always stuck with me. And I used to say that it was Nosferatu, but I'm wrong. It's this. That scene when he goes, "Look at me."
Yeah.
I saw that shit flipping channels as a kid, and that fucking scared me. That's what I remember. I did not watch the rest of the movie. Maybe if I would have saw the kid come up to the window, that would have spooked me out. But the look at me thing always scared me, and I always equated that with Nosferatu. So someone said, "Hey, I remember Nosferatu." The guy said, "Look at me." So in my mind, that's what it was. Until a few years ago, I revisited this one. I'm like, "Oh shit, that's Salem's Lot." But I confused them both because they were both the same year, same time period.
Same vampire. The monster looks very similar in it.
Yeah, well, it's an homage. It's an homage to Count Orlok, and
he looks great.
And it does look great. But another reason why it affects me in a comical way, seeing it for the first time now, is I think of What We Do in the Shadows. And every time I see this blue monster, I'm thinking it's Peter. I'm like, Peter, you coming to the meeting tonight?
But I got a good jump scare when he pops up in a frame and there's a stinger. I jumped.
Yep.
Like there's a really good
little boy.
Yeah. Oh no, no. When Nosferatu does not
Count Orlok.
Barlow.
Barlow, whatever. Yeah, when he gets the kid in the graveyard and he pops up, right?
Yeah, and there's a stinger there. It's great.
What about the kid in the fucking graveyard?
At least we remember the kid in the graveyard. Poor Ralphie. He gets kidnapped.
Right.
His brother passes out two minutes later, and then they forget about Ralphie. In fact,
they have a search party.
Yeah.
Dude, they don't forget about him. They have a search party in the first act, and then by the third act, they mention that the mother's dead, the other kid's dead, and they just fucking don't. They never mention the Ralphie again. And I made a note of it, and B mentioned it in chat last time. I'm like, dude, I thought the same thing.
After the search party, they never come back to him. And even after the brother's funeral, they never come back to Ralphie.
They never mention him.
I wonder if there's even more that they filmed, and they edited it down, and then they said, no, we got to get it tighter. And they kept the weirdest stuff in, because they're frolicking at the lake, like at the halfway point in the movie. I understand backstory. I understand romance and romantic interest and whatever, but we got to start getting moving here with the story. It's like the first hour to hour and a half is filled with a lot of what you would get in the first half hour of any other movie.
In the scene where they find the black fabric doing the search, you see Ben at the police station, and he says, Straker, he always wears a black suit. Cut to the very next scene, Straker standing in the antique shop wearing a gray suit. I was like, are you kidding me? You couldn't put him in a black suit?
Literally the next scene.
Literally.
The editor must have been pissing his pants when he saw that. He's like, they didn't have those, they couldn't like do the CGI on the suit to change it back then. But what happened was the second I saw those glowing eyes, I'm like, here we are, 1979, and it had been done before that, but it was done here, there, and Dr. fucking Sleep, not Strange, I was going to say Dr. Strange, Dr. Sleep had it there too, and that's why, that was one of my quibbles, is like, when I saw that, I'm like, although creepy, I'm like, we've already had this so many times. I guess you could say that he's playing homage to these movies, however.
Yeah, but you even brought it up that Flanagan, even in... was it Ouija or in some of the movies, he does stuff. It's like, just take that out. He does like
Flanaganisms.
Yeah, but he's such a great director that even with those flaws, he's still putting out great movies. But he's done that in a bunch.
So,
yeah, but hey,
I mean, again, not to take it, just it's here. It's effective here. There's some great stuff that was done for a TV movie, but I don't know. Even in '79, like I was watching this and I'm like, does this feel like it was 10 years even earlier? Like it felt like it wasn't even a 70s movie.
Yes, it moved like an early 70s movie. Why did all that stuff matter with the realtor and the girl and that she was cheating on him? What did they have to do with the plot whatsoever? Tell me.
Plot? There really is no plot. It had nothing to do with it. They're just establishing characters in the town of Salem's Lot. They introduced you to everyone.
It's like they took the written word and they said, we've got to get this in the movie somehow. But you're right. It doesn't, without either it being a mini series that actually went on for longer, or it's just there. It's thrown in, but it doesn't add anything to the movie, unfortunately. I actually would like to see the hour and 40-minute version now.
Yeah, that would just, what would that be?
I think it's on DVD, because I think I had the DVD. And I want to say that Salem's Lot DVD is that one, because I'm telling you, for the longest time, you could not. That was the way you got it, you know.
At the 2.5 hour mark of the movie is the first time somebody goes into the house. That's when Susan follows Mark into the house, and for some reason, again, Another performance, Bonnie Bedelia. It's like she was on Valium this whole film. Like, it was like a dead performance. Like, even running up that hill, like, just yell Mark. Why can't you say
it? Die Hard?
Yeah. I
thought she was good in this.
No, I thought the performances were absolutely terrible in this, and hers was really bad. And that's the first time she goes into the house, and the house is great. It's straight up Fright Night. Fright Night straight up ripped off this house. The scene with Straker on the stairs. What is Straker?
Or the cross against
the cross. Yeah, well,
but that was taken from a Hammer film, though, too.
Yeah, but they do it better in Fright Night also. They don't use tongue depressors, and we don't have to listen to Starsky and Hutch blessing tongue depressors for 10 minutes.
Well, that's spur of the moment. That's what you got to do sometimes. You got to make do. You got to make a cross with whatever you have.
But what I'm saying here is, Straker, they pass him off as human. Yet he's clearly not human. He's got superhuman strength. He lifts Dr. Norton straight up in the air and impales him on the antlers, which is a great kill. And then
but why? Why are those antlers for no reason there in a wall like that? That makes no sense at all.
Oh, that doesn't bother me. That was a decent kill.
What? It doesn't bother you? How the fuck? Have you ever
seen that place? It was a dilapidated mansion.
I understand, but can you think of a situation where anybody would take in just one section of a wall a bunch of not even full antlers, half of them sometimes, half antlers, like not even both sides of a fucking deer head. Just take a bunch of random antlers and decorate one freaking 4 foot by freaking 10 foot section of your house with those antlers.
Well, that came right out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think they just took a wall.
Yeah, I don't.
It makes no sense to be in a house like that.
This is like a cursed house, though. Why not?
That whole sequence reminded me of Psycho. When the detective walks up the stairs to go see if Mother is in the room.
When he tap dances down them?
The way as soon as he started walking up the stairs, I thought this was an homage. And they're I thought it was well done, but then you get a dude who's actually been in a couple of, or at least one Hitchcock movie that I'm aware of, North by Northwest, that lifts him up by the neck and whatever, and then it becomes a little silly. Lifts him up and then puts him on the antlers.
James Mason as Straker.
He's good. James Mason's good.
James Mason's probably.
He always classes it up.
To me, he's the best character in the film.
The lead is not that great. You're right, B. You know what it reminds me of? Like the lead in Scanners. How you're not really drawn to him either.
Yeah.
I don't know why. He's just kind of there. You're not like.
I mean, a lot of big name actors in here. I just felt like, there's just nothing there.
I hear. No, I'm not gonna shit on the movie. There is good going on here. There's. It's not a bad movie. I'm not about to give it a failing grade or anything.
It's not a bad movie, but it's far from good. It really is quite boring very early on, and it maintains that level of bore for the whole thing.
We jokingly said you could watch this on 1.5 and it would not actually fault the movie. And I think, Dave, you proved us right.
It's true. I watched it at 1.5 and I was just fine with it.
Dave, were you upset with all the dead kitties inside the house?
Dead kitties?
Yeah, there was a lot when they first entered the house at the 2.5 hour mark, with all the dead cats lying there on the table and stuff. Oh yeah, I even wrote a note talking about unlucky.
I was gonna crack that exact same joke. It was perfect. The way you looked at it, your notes too, was fantastic.
Yeah, I have it.
Hey, look at
kitty named Unlucky. Dude, how about there were a few funny scenes, unintentionally funny, but I liked the relationship that Ben had with Mr. Burke when he goes back and reconnects with the school teacher. I thought that opened it up nicely with the kid, with Mark, and when Burke has the heart attack and he winds up in the hospital. I don't know why. I don't know if anyone else notices this. When he went to visit him at the hospital, he's hooked up to an oxygen tank. This thing. Did you see it? It looked like a nuclear missile sitting next to the bed.
Only after you brought it up did I have to see what you were talking about.
I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, who like, the oxygen tank looks like a missile. I know, but it was ridiculous. It was funny. And also at the end, when Ben and Mark finally go to fight Barlow, when he pushes Mark out of the way. Do you know the scene I'm talking about? He pushes
Mark.
Mark.
The kid to the ground. I laughed out loud.
Dude,
fucking lost my mind.
Dude, he nearly killed him. He pushed him so freaking hard. Like, I'm surprised, Mark. And then it took him 45 minutes to stake Barlow. He must have hit that stake about 75 times.
The lead up of seeing those guys crawling up.
Dude, that was cool. That was cool.
Fantastic.
Yes.
That was really cool. Yeah.
That was great. Like I'm saying, like the last half hour, actually, even probably the last 20 minutes is the best part of the film.
It does have some great shots.
It is.
That's
Once
how
they
you
get
talk
to the house.
That's the climax. It should be,
The
but
boy at the window.
there's those.
The kid in the casket. Oh, okay, now let me ask you this: why was the vampire? What's his last name? Barlow or the? I get their names confused because there's so
Barlow was the actual blue vampire.
Okay, so Barlow. Let's say Barlow. Why did Barlow have to sleep in the daytime in that coffin when clearly they are out and about in the daytime? You saw that the first one, the little boy, the boy that he rose from the grave and attacked the guy in broad fucking daylight. The first time Barlow showed up at that house when they had that seance like scene, when all of a sudden he just shows up out of nowhere and then kidnaps the boy, that was in the middle of the day. He just pops up in their kitchen. These vampires, the rule of this movie up until the very end is that these vampires can apparently be out in the daylight. But then at the end of the movie, he has to sleep in the fucking coffin in the day. And they mention that, it's going to be daylight soon.
Dude, because I thought that Barlow's scenes were always in the dark, but you're saying one of them was in daylight?
Well, don't you remember the first time he showed up in their kitchen when they were having the seance? When they were not having the I call it the seance scene. When they were there and everything started shaking in the room. Remember when the vampire just appeared out of nowhere in their kitchen and fucking stole their boy? And priest and all that shit. Okay, that whole scene was in the daytime. And on top of it, even if you don't believe me there, you have to believe me when the fucking grave digger went on top of the fucking kid's grave.
No, I was going to justify it that rose. I was going to justify it that, they were just turning into vampires, so that's why the kids were, the kid was able to attack him in daylight, but the Barlow thing. Maybe I'm wrong. The Barlow thing would be no excuse, because I always thought, obviously, when he grabs Ralphie, it's nighttime in the woods, but when he attacks the house, I think it was daytime.
What about when he attacks the block?
You have to be right, because then Mark gathers his stuff and goes to the house, and it's still daytime when him and Susan arrive at the house.
There you go. So
he my God, that's
it's a snafu. It makes no sense. Just like they forgot about that kid. I don't know what it is, but there are things in this movie that do not make sense, and I think people just don't think about it. I was willing to say,
they don't think about it because they're in a fucking day's state because it's 3 hours long. I drifted in and out. I can't lie and say that I was driven to the screen and watching every moment. I was like, okay. I didn't watch it. I didn't know if my Xbox could do. I'm assuming it could do it. I couldn't find the option to do it.
PlayStation does 1.5. Xbox will only do like 1.12.
I would have done that.
PS3, everybody, hang on to your PS3s, because one of the greatest things, there are two great things about a PS3 that a PS4 can't do. Number one, it can play almost any Blu-ray from almost any country and DVD. The region codes, they are very loose and free with the region code in a PS3 compared to a 4, and 5's coming soon. And on top of that, you can 1.5 any movie on a PS3. You cannot do that on a PS4. So that's just the way it goes. Sometimes that 1.5 comes in handy. It came in handy here. I was fine with the movie. Here's a question. Why did that asshole want to pry the freaking box open? If somebody hires you to do a job, if the three of us were hired by this asshole to go pick up something here, a crate, and bring it to their house and put it in the basement, would you ever think, I'm going to pry this guy's freaking thing open? Why would he pay you if you opened up his shit? It makes no sense.
I only had a feeling that maybe they were being drawn to it by Barlow itself, but if that was the case, and we saw like 5 minutes after they leave, Barlow exploded through that crate. So that would made for another scene where he could have killed both of them. It's such a shocking. Can you imagine if that crate exploded open and he attacked and killed him? That would have been a jump scare and a great opportunity there. But instead, no, they run away, only to be killed. Ned gets killed off screen in the cell, and Mike gets killed by the kid at the grave. So they missed so many good opportunities. And Mike is a vampire. Jeffrey Lewis, our boy from from Devil's Rejects. I was laughing at his vampire performance. Did you see? He was like a sassy vampire. I actually wrote sassy vampire.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
How
he's
about
in Devil's
that?
Rejects. Yeah.
It was him. It was
Yeah.
the father of my favorite actress.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was-
Holy shit.
And I like him too, but I
What?
thought he was actually an interesting character until
He
they
was
got
really good.
to him turning into a vampire, and then he was like I even wrote down
Yeah.
sassy vampire. I'm like, what is this?
That's
He was a
Sassy,
sassy
but he still did. Look at me, preacher.
Yes.
A teacher. Sorry.
teacher.
good-
Yeah.
Yeah, some good stuff, and some of it harkened back to Hammer horror, but unfortunately not enough. And there is just too much characters.
There are too
There's
many
too
characters.
I was going to say there's too much characterization. We don't need it. There was too much for once, because it never went anywhere. And I'm just being repetitious, but that's it. That's the fault of the film, is that for 3 hours
Yeah.
we're thrown into like, did we really need to know that woman's cheating? And then
Right.
he goes and gets the shotgun and tricks him, and it's all great, but then you never get anything. The guy that runs out gets killed.
Yeah,
The-
Larry Crockett.
What's his name in real life? Why can't I think of
Oh,
his?
he's a comedian too. Fred
Yeah.
Willard.
Thank you. His character, you find out what happens to him, but yeah, you just see her with the black eye, which
The good old days.
Well,
Hey, she deserved it. She needed a fresh
Dude.
one to keep her in line.
that dirty birdie.
Dirty birdie.
I knew it right away when I saw her. She was a dirty birdie. She called the guy came up to her and he had his hand on her shoulder, and it's her boss, and she didn't say nothing. And she was all interested in this newcomer coming into town. She kept being overly friendly. I'm like, this girl wants to fuck everybody. I knew it just when I saw, because I could spot them. I could spot a dirty birdie a mile away. And as soon as I saw, I'm like, this girl, you could see
Good
her
actress.
personality.
I just like
Yeah,
Dirty
yes.
Birdie.
Yeah, good actress. She did what she was supposed to do. All is well. Now I'll say this: Ned Tebbets, that situation, they could have just had him and the other guy doing their thing without having all that other drama. So they go and pick up a crate. Big deal. They could have shortened that
A
shit.
very
right
cold crate. A cold crate for
cold
35 minutes. That
you
could-
think
cool.
there's going to be some payoff there.
Dude, that was the opportunity
knew what it
for
was.
Barlow to explode through.
Well, you said,
that
yeah,
was,
but
that was it. That was
Instead, they
it.
throw down a chain onto the ground and run away.
In fact, what would have been cool is as they're driving in the truck and it's coming forward, they cut and then they cut back and it's open. And they don't realize, and then it reaches through and kills them in the truck. That would have been cool. Something like that. They missed so many opportunities. And given where this film starts, it starts 2 years later, before it goes back. It starts 2 years later with Ben and Mark together as these, traveling vampire hunters. And so once they flash back 2 years earlier, everything should be from Ben's perspective and Mark's perspective, leading them together. All these other characters, as much as I enjoyed some of them, need to be severely trimmed down or cut out completely.
I will give Tobe Hooper a little bit of credit. I mean, I guess this is in the script from Stephen King, but the reality would be he had horror fans as characters, as like a character trait that gave them strength to fight off monsters before a lot of movies were doing that. He has them in this, and he has them in the Funhouse as well. Because, I don't know, she had the Frankenstein poster in the, was it the Frankenstein poster in the Funhouse?
Yeah.
I don't know. Frankenstein mask, but did she have a poster too, or was it the Wolfman? She was a horror fan in the Funhouse as well at the beginning.
Wait, what was it? Her or was it the little brother who was groping?
Maybe
It
it
was
was
a
the
little
brother.
brother. Yes. It was
That
the
little,
brother. It was
that
the
little,
brother.
that little dirty birdie groping sis's titties.
But he had
I'll-
characters anyway. Maybe that's
Oh, and a
Right.
missed opportunity because he had so much cool stuff. Every time they went to into Mark's room, it had a lot of cool stuff
I
that you
just
were
want to
looking
punch
around.
the dad in the face.
And he tried to, the
Well,
dad.
that's-
The handcuff thing was a nice gesture, but 2 seconds later, he's like, well, I can make a living at accounting.
Yeah.
fuck,
Right.
fuck you,
Fuck
you, Dad.
Right. That's good though. That's a shout out to us, the fans of the shit. When are you gonna outgrow this stuff? Well, take a look at us. Fucking
Yeah.
never. And we're doing just fine. It
And
is
still
what it
says,
is.
Fuck you, dad, every night.
Yeah, fuck you, Dad is right. Fair enough.
Dad, come up here for a second.
I got something to tell you.
I got something to tell you.
Oh,
I'll
shit.
say it too. Get him in there.
Dad, come
Yeah,
up
we'll
here. We
all
don't want to speak to you.
This is my moment to
So-
shine.
I got confused. and you know this happens to me sometimes. I thought when that guy, when the guy with the cheating wife first approached what's his name, Jeffrey Lewis in the graveyard, I thought that was the lead. I thought that was Ben, and he went up to him and he says, and I'm thinking, why is he in the graveyard, and why does he have a dog all of a sudden, and why would he hire him to go do this when he's a writer, and why would he hang out with Ned Tibbetts? So for the first fucking 10 minutes that I see Jeffrey Lewis, I thought that was the lead. They looked alike from afar.
Yeah, that would have really thrown me off. Like, what the hell just happened? Where did you get this dog?
That's what happened
to me. Yeah, that's at least that's interesting for you, because you'd be like, okay, I don't know where this is going. I was watching like, Jesus, more characters.
I was confused. I was like, why? Why would he hire him? Why is he hanging out with him when he's messing with his girlfriend now? And then I'm like, then the movie starts going, that's not our lead. That's not Ben. And then it cut to like Ben hanging out with either the teacher or the doctor, going to the guy's shop. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's not him. What am I doing? So I confused myself. So there's that. There's a question I have. They mention a dead baby very nonchalant.
Yeah.
Film. Like throughout the film, they're talking about all the instances in town. The kid goes missing. The mother of the kid died. This guy had a heart attack and died. The teacher. Then later on, they very nonchalantly mention something about a dead baby being somewhere, as if it's something that normally happens in fucking Jerusalem's lot.
Well, at this point, everyone's dying. Like, they even meant, because you see Eva, who's running the boarding house that Ben is staying at, is sick. She mentions that Weasel is dead, who was doing the spying for the cop earlier.
But nobody mentions the dead baby as being out of the ordinary.
No, and that's another missed opportunity to have a vampire baby. Like, seriously, that would have been awesome. Yeah. A little blue vampire baby or something.
Yeah, we had a baby, what do you call it? A baby zombie in the Dawn of the Dead remake. Imagine a baby vampire pop out. And the girl was pregnant at the end. What's up with that shit? What about the end of the movie? How does that make fucking sense?
You know what? I thought so too, and then I wasn't so sure when they got closer to her, because she did look pregnant, but was she?
And how come he was so nonchalant right after killing her? He goes in there, he kills this fucking girl he's been with for 2 years, that he's fallen head over heels with. They've been through trials and tribulations, all the shit. They're on the run. She's with them. She's carrying his baby. He goes in there and he fucking has to whack her. And he just like, he would have been sadder if a fucking dog died.
All right, this is where I think we're seeing things differently. I'm taking it that he hasn't seen her since the house burning.
What?
They never found her in the house.
I knew she was going to be with them. I'm like, well, hopefully the girl made the trip.
They never found her in the house. In fact, when him and Mark get out of the house and the house is burning, he even like cries out Susan. So I think he thought that he killed her in the fire, because then they mentioned that, okay, they're going to be coming for us. We got to stay on the run. So 2 years later, when they're filling up the holy water and he sees the light in the water and he says, one of them's found us. I think when he walks in and sees her, he now knows that she's the vampire that's found us, and that he knows he has to kill her. I don't think she was pregnant, to be honest. It looked like she was. I had the same thing written down, but when you get closer to the bed, her stomach looks flat, and then he stakes her.
Well, it's bad editing then, because that was clearly a fucking pregnant tummy when you first see her laying down there. Can you think of any other reason she would have a stomach fucking 5 times the size of a normal stomach?
I don't know.
Very pregnant.
When they got closer to the bed, it didn't look like she was, and I'm telling you, I think
bad editing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
See, what do you think? Weigh in on this. Did you think she was pregnant?
Yes, I did, but I tuned out because I've just found out there was a remake of this that I never saw.
Oh yeah, it stars Rob Lowe.
Yeah, I never even knew it existed. But yeah, I knew there was one scene where she looked pregnant.
Yeah, she was asleep in the fucking thing.
You don't think she was with them for 2 years? I don't.
Why would she be there?
They lost her because she's a vampire now, tracking them.
So she's I'm going to track these motherfuckers for whatever reason, and I'm pregnant for no reason.
Well, when I get there, I'm
just going to go to sleep in his bedroom.
That was the storyline in the last 10 minutes was, no, she's laying in bed to entice him. She's all dressed sexy to entice him. Don't forget, when 2 years ago when the house is burning, they're saying they're going to be coming for us, meaning all the vampires are going to want to come and kill them for destroying them. And she's one of them now because they never find her in the house. In fact, they even go back to the house with the camera and you hear screaming, and I'm assuming it's her screaming.
Well,
she
maybe
somehow.
I'm an idiot then, but why would she be
No, because
pregnant? You all thought she was pregnant.
I thought she was pregnant, and then I didn't think she was pregnant when they got close to her in the bed.
Maybe she just got fat.
Maybe she got fat from all
In
the
2
blood.
years, she became a vampire. Yeah,
No,
she's
craft
like a mosquito.
services.
She's
They
a
just-
fucking mosquito vampire. She stores all the blood in her fucking abdomen.
I'm telling you, I don't know.
I don't know either.
What it is, I don't care.
I guess
That's
not.
the-
Yeah,
that's
and
the
why
point.
does the holy water get turned to bright blue when someone's near? What is it, like a video game or something? Oh, somebody's near. You know?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's their. I don't know why they're getting these light signals that somebody's close. I don't know.
I don't get it. There's too many unexplained things in this. I don't
For
know.
a 3-hour movie that had a chance to explain them.
Right, dude. Yes. I don't know. I don't know.
I had no clue this was remade.
Yep. It was when they remade all those Stephen King's, when he wanted to redo them all. He did Trucks, he did Stephen King's The Shining, he did Salem's Lot, he did another one. I forgot what the hell he did. The Langoliers came out. Fucking it was right during that stretch.
It says under Stephen King wiki that Susan is turned to a vampire, caught and turned to a vampire when she goes to the Marston house.
Okay.
It's still poor editing, and
It's not clear cut. I'm sorry. It's not clear cut. That I don't know.
And you're right, because I wrote it down too. I changed my mind as the camera panned closer, but when he first looks into the room, and the wherever they're staying and wherever they're hunting and sees her, I was like, she's pregnant? How could she be pregnant? She's a vampire. Vampires don't get pregnant. But then they went closer. I'm like, maybe she's not pregnant. Just one of the many,
Right.
why, what. At this point, I was like, please end. Just end.
And what school teacher gets an hour break? You can't have an hour break if you're a school teacher. Are you kidding me? She left the school to go to fucking lunch to meet the guy. She's at the diner. Oh, I have an hour break. I'm thinking, no, you fucking don't. No teacher is away from school for an hour.
Even if you have an hour break, you're not usually allowed to leave the school. Although maybe in 79 in Maine. We got to ask Casanelli. BC, did your teachers ever leave for an hour to go to lunch?
I thought they were. Weren't they in Vermont?
No, they had to go to the movies in Bangor. They were in Maine.
Oh,
St.
yeah,
Louis.
okay, yeah.
Yep, they were in Maine.
Did a part of this take
Jerusalem's
place in
left.
Vermont? Where the hell do I have Vermont in my mind?
I don't know.
They went skiing at the end, vampire skiing.
Fuck off.
They hit the blue slopes with Barlow.
And why does the guy
one of
close
his
the...
New Year's resolutions wasn't stopping being a skunk. Continue to do it for the fucking New Year.
Skunk
I
defied.
love you, Christian.
Oh,
I am an asshole. I'm such a prick.
you're not a prick at all. You're just fine. You're
Don't
a little
sell
bit
yourself short, Judge. You're a tremendous slouch.
Nice. And why does the guy close the door to beat his wife's ass in his own bedroom? In his
Big Bear's coming.
Big Bear, he closes the bedroom door to kick her ass. He's in his own house. Who else is gonna hear her?
Well, the cameraman was right there. He's like,
That's about it. Oh, stay right there.
I thought he was gonna like fuck her. I thought that's what he was doing. It's like, now you're gonna get one. I didn't. I actually thought he was going old school and just gonna jackhammer fuck the hell out of her.
yeah, it seemed like.
He called her puss. When's the last time you called your wife puss? By the way, I might do it tonight. How you doing, puss? Just to see what she says.
Dave's
Puss.
Facebook status tomorrow
You're
changes to
lucky.
single.
She'll probably just go puss, and that'll be the end of it.
Lucky shows up. Puss.
Yeah, puss. There you go. All right, maybe we should get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you guys ever see the sequel before we go?
Return?
Yeah, I actually did way back when. I haven't seen it, and I remember getting such shitty reviews, and of course, I liked it. I remember it being very campy, but it was fun. I haven't seen it probably since late 80s, early 90s.
I never saw it. This was a first time watch for me, but maybe I'll check it out. It's not 3 hours, is it?
No, it's an hour and 40.
Okay, I could deal with that.
There you go.
Larry Cohen directed it.
Oh, it's worth checking out
Yeah,
then.
but a lot of people hate it.
But so many people hold this one in such high regard, and I could see
Yeah.
certain things being scary as a kid. But if you rewatch it now, even having a high regard for it when you're younger or years ago, there's just, I don't know, like
Yeah.
it's not there.
I think the scary parts work. The downfalls, there's so few of them,
Yeah.
and they're too few and far between. Really, that's it. But I actually do think they're effective.
I agree.
I keep doing this
However,
again.
B, where are you? What's your rating?
A lot of potential. I don't hate it, but I'm far from loving it. I'm going to go a little bit on the high end because we did talk for a while about it. So we pointed out some decent things about it. I'm going to go, this is the highest I can possibly go on this, 6 out of 10.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I couldn't go below 5, but I can't go higher than 6.
And I'll do
Okay.
6.5, but that's 100% on the effective scare sequences and the window vampire stuff and the design of the main vampire and creature and having a good jump scare as well.
Well, you guys aren't going to believe this, but 100% legit. My rating, and I don't do this very much, but it ended up just having to be a 6.75.
Oh,
7.5. Yeah. That's what I couldn't give it a 7. There was too many questions and this and that. I wanted to, and I was trying to appreciate the atmosphere and the story and everything else, but there was just too many questions by the end of it, and just,
Yeah.
we've covered it. But yeah, so it's funny. A 6.5, and a 6.75. Nice. But yeah, and a lot of people love the shit out of this movie.
I know when you guys were going on, and that's why I kind of went out there. I was looking at my notes and I went back to the IMDb reviews, and I was like, I can't believe it. People are really. But I guess if it scared the shit out of you as a kid, and you have that nostalgia for it.
I'm telling you, I'd be much higher if I had seen this, like I said, if I'd seen this in 89 or 90 when I was, 9, 10 years old. Definitely.
And I got to tell you, I stand corrected. The VHS is 3 hours and 3 minutes, and so is the DVD. But I am telling you, they used to play this on cable in a shortened version. It was not always this long.
Well,
No,
there's 3 hours and 20 on here, but my Blu-ray was 303 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
303.
Yeah.
Maybe 320 was because of the the TV with the commercials and stuff.
No, I think that would have been 4 hours, 2 hour segments.
Oh, easy. Sure.
Oh, yeah, you're right. What's it called? Yeah, there's definitely an hour and 50-minute version out there. I don't know if it's on any physical media, but it's definitely out there. Because I was reading about the formats, and they said that there was a shorter version.
Okay, all right. That's the one I used to see, because I do not remember it always being this long.
I found some alternate versions here. So Salem's Lot originally aired as a 2-night miniseries, with the first episode airing on November 17th, 79, the second November 24th, 79. A total of 4 different versions exist. The original CBS broadcast, the CBS rebroadcast version shown a year later, the European theatrical released version, and the DVD Blu-ray version. The original CBS broadcast version ran a total of 200 minutes, including commercials. The rebroadcast, 150. The European theatrical released version, which was edited even more, down to 112 minutes.
Yeah.
There you go. That was
Not
the one
only
I saw.
omitted a bunch of scenes, but also had slightly more violent
140.
scenes. Wow.
An hour 42. See, that was the one that they must have played on cable.
See, more shorter character development and more violence. That's the version we want to see.
Yeah, I want to get my hands on that shit. Can we get it? Someone should put out a Salem's Lot. Remember when they put out that Dawn of the Dead DVD set and it had all 4 versions?
Yeah.
The short version, the extended, the European. That's what I want for Salem's Lot, although I'm not going to spend all that money for the other versions. But I want to be able to sit down and watch the hour and 42-minute version, and maybe it brings it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure people listening are saying that we're crazy and that they love it, and that the director's name is not Tobe, it's Toby. Well,
Or that it's an hour
We
and
know
52, or that it's an hour and 52 minutes.
Well, they got to know that's our joke now. So,
Oh yeah, an hour and 52. Excuse me, not 42. I apologize.
I just want to save you from the backlash.
Yeah, you're right.
Who are these Tobe? Cooper loving mathematically incorrect motherfuckers.
Unbelievable. Okay.
Alrighty.
That's the first movie. 2 to go.
All
2
right,
to
guys.
go.
You ready to move on?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. Up next, from 2008, it is The Strangers, written and directed by Brian Bertino. A young couple staying in an isolated vacation home are terrorized by 3 unknown assailants. Ratings?
I got lots.
I'm glad because I enjoy this movie. I like the opening, giving straight up facts about 1.4 million violent crimes in America. Then it gives you this date, February 11, 2005, and we got Kristen and James. It's very simple to follow, and they say based on a true story and all that.
Okay.
So it really freaks you out.
Right off the bat, B. Okay. Number 1, have you ever done any research on this possibly being a true story, and do you know anything about that?
I know nothing about that, and I assumed when I read based on a true story that it just means this type of shit happens in the world, and that freaks me out.
This type of shit happens every day. Yeah. I guess so. Okay. See, you know anything about this? Because I don't. I'm not.
No, I don't.
Okay. I
would have just assumed it was BS.
Okay.
Because it kind of reminded me of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The voice was almost a little overdone.
That's what I was going to say. Do you guys think that was a nod to John Larroquette?
I think it was. I think it was because it reminded me of it immediately.
Yes.
I'm like, well, they're really overdoing it for a smaller type film in a sense, but it worked. And then to go into the 911 call worked.
Yeah.
Like it was a great way to set it up for sure.
But yet they are both kind of true. I mean, Texas Chainsaw, based on Ed Gein, and certainly this type of home invasion type stuff does exist. And the fact that it's completely random makes it even more real, because those are the types of crimes that are like the easiest to get away with and the most horrifying when there's no motive behind it.
Let me throw out this question. Had she said yes, would the whole night have turned out differently?
No. Because they were fucking when the knock came on the door. They would have been fucking
sure
if they said yes.
The whole lead up, they're depressed. They're in that state.
Which I love.
Just about to go into that, and then the knock came. Had they been on cloud 9 and a little bit more aware, he wouldn't have called his friend to come. If this started, he wouldn't have grabbed the shotgun and blown half of his friend's head off.
So it's her fault. You are correct, because they would have fucked. They would have been asleep. They might not have heard the knock.
Or they would have just been in a different state of mind, and he wouldn't have shot his friend, which would have so the whole train of events.
Chain?
I meant to say chain, but train came out.
Train works.
Yeah.
Train works.
It would have chuck a choo-chooed a different way.
Yeah, maybe, but no, not really. If they're at that, if they're at that house, I think they're being tormented and killed. If they're asleep, just because no one answers the door doesn't mean they're not coming in and not going to start tormenting these people.
I don't want to sound like a prick, but when I hear summer home, you figure rich. When I hear summer home, you figure a home that you want to actually go to in the summer. This just looked like a small little it didn't look like a cottage.
It looked like a winter cottage.
It didn't look like you're in the luxury of like a wooded area. It just looked like you had a deep lot, no pool. Like if I'm going somewhere for the summer, lake me, pool me, something. Like it just looked like a regular old house.
Okay. Have you seen Tucker and Dale versus Evil?
Yeah, like a long time ago.
Well, I just watched it recently, and he was going to have a summer home, and it was just a shit fucking cabin.
But was it in the woods?
It was in the woods.
Yeah, this one was still like kind of in suburbia. I mean, I guess deep lotted, but
it looked like it was suburbia. But when they go outside, it looked fucking rural. It looked like they were in a fucking farmland. Like there's nothing around.
Who do I have to blow for that to be my summer home? I would love to have that fucking cottage to drive.
Dude, I actually quite liked it too. I thought it was quite peaceful.
I'm just saying,
until the whole murder thing.
Have 2 homes. I want one to actually have a fucking pool or something.
I don't think it was. I think didn't they mention it was one of the family's homes?
It was his family home.
Yeah, So it's his parents' home.
The Hoyt summer home.
Yes. Okay.
Oh yeah, James Hoyt.
Okay. Okay, the Hoyt summer home. Okay, here's
Hoyt
the
Manor.
question. Now, when I get to the end, I'm going to pose a question to B about this movie and the next movie, and I know what I know what your answer is going to be, but I'm just going to do it for the sake of the show.
I still
But
like to have questions posed to me.
okay, and I like asking them. But let me say this: why, in the opening narration, does it say the events of this night are not entirely known? The way the movie ends, don't you think that some person would be able to say what the fuck happened in the house that night?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so that
Hey,
again.
hey. Sorry, Fred. I just jumped
No,
up
no,
on
no. I'm just, it doesn't make sense to me because of that. Now I am 100% not going to shit on this movie, but that is something that struck me because I
Well, they don't know
remember
the
this movie.
attackers. There's nothing solved. They found 2 dead bodies and
No, they didn't.
carnage.
Well,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the thing. She's alive
They
at the
did.
end.
Okay.
That's the problem. Yeah, but 2 dead bodies. The friend, gunshot wounded.
Oh yeah, Mike.
Yes, 2 dead bodies. But she could have, you know what I'm saying? If she survived, as we're led to believe, she's gonna say, "Well, they knocked on the door, they came in, this happened, he got fucking tied up, stabbed in the stomach, this happened, the friend come, he shot up by accident, and they were about to take
Very
me out,
true.
and I survived." So
Yeah.
the events would be known.
It's so funny. It's so funny. You're absolutely right. I never even thought that because I thought that was that one last scare to get you, and I shoot like the old she just dies after. But you're right. If she's alive because she screams and whatever, yeah, everything's exposed.
You're probably
got
right
attacked.
though. She's probably not alive, given that
Well,
they didn't do a sequel to this sort of sooner.
oh, my score went up then if that's the case, because that was my problem with the film. Not problem, but I saw this movie the first time years ago, and my recollection, and we went through this maybe 50 episodes ago or something, but I remember talking about this. I hadn't watched it in a while, but my recollection was it was the same type of ending as the Funny Games ending. And I remember loving it for that.
Ooh.
And then you told me, B, no, you are wrong. That is not the way it ends. Go back and watch it. And then I did. And
I
was
say
like,
it in that tone.
Yeah, probably.
I'm an asshole. Yeah, that was really
Did not say
dickish.
that.
No, you are wrong. Go back.
And
That's
here are the
not what-
reasons why.
Dude,
but I went back and I watched it, and I
I
was
don't know
like,
why
oh,
though. I will never watch Funny Games again because that movie just I can't. I can't. Like I will be emotionally a wreck if I watch that. Yet I could watch this again easily.
just because of the jump scare at the end.
Well, I'm telling you, I just watched it while we were talking. It's a jump scare to freak out the audience, but I took it that she died.
I never took it that she died, and I took it that I was disappointed because I remember in my mind for years that the movie ended with her crawling away and fucking getting stabbed and being dead and going, that is a haunting ending, and I will forever remember this movie because of that ending. That's what stuck with me. Then when B told me the movie didn't end that way, that's when I was like, oh, wait a minute now. And then I was like, well, damn well, the movie should have ended that way because people will be talking about it 30 years from now because you don't see that very much. Then I went back and I watched it again, and I said, great movie. I appreciated the movie more. Still didn't like the ending. This time around, I love the movie again even more. And the ending, my last note says this: good jump scare, but ... And that's the way I feel. It is a good jump because literally I did jump. It got me when it happened. It was so loud. The sound design is fucking phenomenal. And I watched it after. I watched Your Next first, and then I had the volume to 35 on Your Next. Then I put in my Strangers Blu-ray, and I couldn't even put it up to 20. That just goes to show you how fucking how everything was better about this specific Blu-ray and the sound design in this film.
Well, when do the kids make the phone call then about finding the bodies and everything like that? Like we assume it's after that scare, no?
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, then he would have said there's someone alive.
I guess. Now I have questions. Son of a bitch. Well, I'm not gonna let it. No, I'm not gonna let it affect my rating because I'm sure it makes sense. I'm thinking of it now. Like, when did they make the call? And is she dead now? I don't know. I haven't seen them
physically see them do it. It's over them walking up at the beginning and seeing them. And they said they found bodies.
Yeah, and how rude of them just to walk into someone's house.
That's what they do. Have you found Jesus? I didn't know he was lost.
Oh, let's go back, and then we can maybe get to that after. But yeah, there's a little bit of a question mark there. It doesn't ruin the movie.
Not at all.
But it leaves a question mark. But the look of it, opening up with the red tint, and you just see sort of hands, her crying, him upset, they're at a red light, just how that all unfolds. Beautifully done storytelling through visuals there. You already kind of know, and I'm sorry the night didn't go the way you expected, and boom. And they really don't have to say too much more. They do. They talk a little bit more about it, but I do love how they start to get into something, and then they get interrupted with, and those knocks, you talk about sound design, those knocks seem to just rattle your house.
They're great.
Beautiful.
And I love dresses.
I watched this way back when. This was the second time I watched it, and I watched it twice for the show.
Nice.
I like.
Sorry, my headphones went out, so I've been talking, and if you guys interjected, I apologize because I talked right over you. I didn't even hear you guys. If you were talking, I apologize.
Oh, okay. So that's why.
No worries.
That's what
All I said was I agree, basically, and that I love dresses. I miss dresses. I love that how you can have sex with your wife and just pull her undies off and put her up on the freaking thing and just go to town. Dresses are great. I gotta make my wife make one.
And they're perfect jizz moms too. Like it's like an all-in-one solution.
Oh, I have a child in the house, so I can't do that shit anymore. No wonder I'm looking at this longing for the days of my youth when people used to wear dresses. That's the problem. Even if she did wear a dress,
Brandon will wear a dress for us.
Is that why she didn't want to get married?
Oh shit.
The one thing I really like about this, and I thought about it, because at first, probably the first time I saw it, I wasn't a fan of. It's that their thought process changes throughout this film. They actually start out, James and Kristen, they start out quite rational and quite smart about what they need to do to stay safe. And had they maintained that, they definitely would have survived the night. But because of the incident that happens with Mike, it rattles them so that they just start making bad decision after bad decision after, and it ultimately leads to where it does. And at first you're watching it like, oh, you were being smart. You should have just stayed in the closet. But given what happens, it's his best friend. He's shook. At this point, like, you are not thinking straight. She clearly, loves Mike too and has a good friendship with him because she's crying too. So they start to unravel emotionally and mentally, and they're not thinking straight, and they just make poor decisions, and it ultimately leads to where it does. And there's a lot of tension, and they try to do the right thing, getting to the car, getting the shotgun. I love the scene in the car where I guess it's Pinup Girl is hiding in the back, and she just runs her hand across the back of his neck. That's a great scene.
There's so many cool little moments like that.
There are.
And at the end, when they kind of hold hands and everything like that, I don't know. Again, I'm glad they cut this line up. But at one point, he looked over at her and he goes, "Bitch, if you're gonna make this decision 2 hours ago, we would have never gotten in this mess."
Oh, now you love me?
Yeah.
My guts. I had to spill my guts for you to love me?
Yeah. That's uncomfortable stabbing too. No, stabbing's great.
Oh, yeah.
But some movies just don't get it right. Lords of Chaos is one that gets it right twice. It's unsettling. I don't know if you guys have had a chance yet to watch it. Brandon, you said it was going to be your first movie to watch, and you haven't watched it yet.
It wasn't my first. I'm going to watch it. It's not. I don't want to spend $10 for it.
It's
I'm
on
cramming.
Shudder.
It's on Shudder?
Yeah.
Not on Shudder here. Oh, maybe
it's on Canadian Shudder. Sorry.
Well, then maybe it's on like Shudder.com. I have the Prime Shudder.
Oh, you got Prime Shudder.
How is there a difference? Can't you just? Well, you have Shudder. You got Shudder. No.
No, I can't go onto Shudder.com. I can only go onto my Amazon account and go to my Shudder account. I will see it.
It's a huge difference. I said it on this very show that I used to be having on Prime, and then one day I found that I could go on the website. Huh?
I didn't know what you meant. I was just like, there was a difference.
I explained. I said,
no, he did. I remember.
There's more categories. You can see this and that. You can do the TV. It's fucking. What you get on the Prime Shudder is like 70% of what the website has.
So cancel your subscription on that and get it on the other.
And get a Chromecast. It's so easy. It costs you $15, $20 for Chromecast. Stick it in the back of your TV and cast everything from your screen to the freaking TV, buddy. Piece of cake.
Yeah.
Let me make sure though, it's not just on Shitter, aka Canadian.
Shit.
No.
Does the volume sound low to you guys?
Mine just went down. I don't know what happened there.
Oh, okay. It sounds good now. Dave, say
Okay,
something.
good. So it wasn't my headphones. I was jack like shit.
No.
But again.
No, when Dave was talking, Dave, say something.
Dave, your mic went down for a second. Yeah, you're out.
No?
Can't hear you.
Mic is broken.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh wait, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe were you sitting on your wire or something?
I don't know.
Oh wait.
Girl,
no,
you couldn't
hear
bite
you.
my wire, huh?
Are you
Oh,
sure it's not coming? Is it coming through these maybe?
Oh, really? Oh, shit. Did it do this now on me? Is that the
That's
problem?
what I think has happened because it didn't change when he moved forward, Brandon. I bet it's coming through his ear pods.
Hold on now. Son of a bitch.
Does that mean we have to start over?
No, we're fine.
You mean the whole time? Hold on.
Yeah, you sounded okay. I didn't notice it because, well, now you do sound a bit different though.
Let me fix this. Audio and
Check
video.
where your
No.
microphone is.
It says microphone, Yeti stereo microphone.
Okay.
Take it easy.
Hey,
Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro.
Below my background. It's wrong. Trade
Oh, no.
of events.
Christian's gone fucking
Below
crazy.
my background.
Dude, the standing scene, it's really nice though to have like a woman by your side like comforting you as you're being stabbed to death, because she's basically saying, look at me, focus on me, don't focus on the fact that you're being killed right now.
Oh,
It's on Hulu. Lords of Chaos is on Hulu, Hoopla, and Canopy, by the way. Canopy and Hoopla are free.
Buddy. You just need a library card.
Yep.
Canopy's like Hoopla, like I'm talking about. So I've
Yep.
got Hoopla and Canopy. The selection is phenomenal.
I know.
For free.
I'm on
For
it,
free.
man. On it like a bonnet. Yep, you gotta get on that shit, B. You're
What did you
missing
say
out.
about a library card though?
Go
Well,
to your
Canopy-
library.
Yeah.
Get a card. And after you've gotten the card, you can use those digits to sign up for Hoopla and Canopy
You
if they're
get
offered.
you get 7 boros a month.
Yep.
So it's legit, and you get 7 from one, 7 from another. That's how I saw Anna on the Apocalypse.
That's 14 borrows a month.
Hey, math is your forte.
Tons of movies. Tons.
Cool.
Everybody get on it. Canopy, Hoopla. Canopy spelled with a K. Just in case. Get
They're
on
our
there.
Sponsor. Drink at Timmy's.
Drink
Yeah.
a Timmy's. While you
Yeah.
watch your- Get a Timmy's. Sit down in front of your canopy.
And what's all this hoopla?
Hoopla! Speaking of
There you go.
Popeye, you ever see the Popeye movie when the guy keeps saying it in the Popeye movie? Hoopla! Oh, he's great.
If I have
Anyway.
one quibble with the movie, sorry to just like go back into it like Rain Man, but when Mike does show up, like obviously the first thing that happens is his car gets fucking demolished, you know, and right then and there, take out the cell phone and call the cops.
He lost his cell phone though at that point. No, isn't that when he didn't have it at that point?
Mike?
Oh, Mike, I'm sorry.
Mike.
The buddy, the friend.
Yeah, Mike,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
He shows up. He doesn't call the cops. He goes inside, and the record is blaring at this point. Shut the record player off and call out for Kristen and James. He
I
doesn't
think-
do any of those things. I get the way he went. He knew something was wrong.
He's also
so
drunk. Supposedly he
That's
was.
true. He was
Remember back-
definitely
He was at the wedding.
okay.
He was
No,
shitty.
that's true. And I could see, walking into a house like that and sort of tiptoeing around because you don't know what's going on, but you know something's wrong. I mean, obviously you're not expecting someone in the closet to blow your head off with a shotgun. So I could see why he acted the way he did, but at the same time, my first instinct, especially with the car being smashed right as I'd be like, I need a cop over here at this address. My car just got smashed. There's something wrong. The front door to my friend's house is open. Like, there's something wrong here. But not a big quibble. Just a little.
When I first saw this movie, I was like waiting for that glimmer of hope that they were going to get away and that someone was going to save the day. And it just keeps spiraling downwards. So you get the Mike scene and then you get everything that happens with them until they're tied up on the chairs and holding hands and getting stabbed to death. And it's just like this emptiness that you feel.
Yeah.
But I pride the movie for that. I don't fault it for it because that's awesome.
It's
And they
awesome.
have been better if they didn't have the scream, Dave. But it's such a great jump scare, and I'm still willing to say
Yes.
that it's just a jump scare, and she perished thereafter.
The,
But
that's fine. The
Very-
scream made me jump. It's the scream that makes me jump.
And
It's
then
like, oh, holy shit, man. Maybe she did perish. That's fine. That's fine.
Like,
Maybe
like a bad head of broccoli.
it makes it easier to swallow. Exactly. She perished. Now, why would she not let that alarm continue to ring? If that was you and you were in the house and your smoke alarm goes off, wouldn't you continue to let it ring, 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 ring? So maybe the people on the outside would think that you have some type of home alarm possibly or something, or that authorities are going to come. Why would you shut it down?
instinct.
Normally, I'll shut it down.
Like, oh shit, a noise, and then you're like, it's causing like it's alerting into my presence or whatever, even though it's not. Your rational thinking is one way. I know me. In that middle of the night, you're freaked out. Boom. I'm like, oh, shut it off. Shut it off.
Right. True. That's a good point. I can buy that. Okay. Again, I brought up a few things, and it seems like I'm nitpicking. I'm not. In this movie, we have suspense at last in this movie. Wonderful. We've gone years without suspense at this point. You know what I mean? It's great. The first time you see them, the killers entering the home in the background, and everything they do in the stalking is fucking mwah, as Christian would say. It really is. I like this movie more each time I watch it. So I'm just, for the sake of the show, because when I see things, I have to question certain things.
Oh, absolutely. You get stereo mwahs, by the way, just so you know. Did we get that in hi-fi stereo, Brandon?
What's that?
You whine the suspense in it too?
Mwah!
Yeah, good.
There we go.
He's alive, everybody.
I wanted more. I love the few scenes we see with Sackhead and with
Sackhead.
and what was it, the pinup
By
girl?
the way,
Pinup girl in the backgrounds, but I wanted a few more. Like, especially when they first entered the house, I would have loved to see if you could just kind of see things in the shadows even more. Because when they come out, they're there. You can see them. I wanted in the shadows a little bit more. But that's just me being nitpicky.
a little more. That's the beauty of this movie, that they are in the shadows for so much.
Well, they're in the shadows as in they're not seen. I want to see them in the house. Be like, go back and be like, I want that effect that that sort of like Lake Mungo had on me at the first time I saw that. I was just like, what? Like, it's there? It's like just out of your periphery the whole time? I want to be like, you go back to the 22-minute mark and pause it. You can see Dollface, rubbing one out in the corner. Oh my God.
That's actually Dolph.
Yeah, I know. That's insane.
Really?
She's stunning.
See, here I am watching the movie thinking that the other one would be the one. What did you say, Blackhead?
Sackhead. Blackhead.
Not Sackhead.
Blackhead.
Yeah, she's a pimple. Blackhead. She's got acne. I thought you were calling the other girl Blackhead because she was a brunette. I don't know. But for the brunette, I thought would have, but just by looking at her, I'm like, man, I bet she's very pretty underneath that mask.
They're probably both very attractive.
Well, we know that the one is now. Wow.
But the blonde, I think is like a supermodel or something. Like you could tell she's very tall.
Yeah.
Just by when she stands up.
True. I have no complaints. Honestly, outside of what I had. We have suspense at last. The jump scares are great when we get them. The open window and then the front door jump right after one after another when she's alone. Man.
Yeah, and even the tension of her, cowering in the bedroom the first time when you hear the footsteps and it's James that shows back up. There are a lot of tensions. The hiding in the pantry, with the Dollface jump scare. There's a lot of good stuff here. My only issue, and it doesn't affect my scoring in any way, is the rewatchability. It's a really great film. It's just not a fun film to rewatch because you don't want to see these people tortured over and over.
I watched it twice.
I appreciate it.
I actually enjoyed it so much last week. I watched it when I was on the plane for work, and then when I came, like I said, I got to watch it again so it's fresh in my head for the show. And I only do that if I really enjoyed the film.
Yeah.
So I know what you're saying because it has that Funny Games-esque type of feel, and that's okay. That might make it good. It doesn't have to be watched every month, every year. Maybe it's something that you don't really want to revisit, and that's why you hold it in such a high regard. But For me, yeah, I actually do like it. But I'm a sucker. I actually like Strangers Pray at Night as well.
I
I
love
think it's
Strangers
great.
Pray at Night.
Yeah.
I love it too. I think it's a lot of
I
fun.
like-
That's got more rewatchability to me, even though I think this one is probably the better film. But
Yeah,
This is definitely better.
they're close.
This is the
for me.
better. This is a better film. That's a better slasher. This is
Yeah.
like this is a home invasion, and that one
Yep.
brings it into a slasher realm.
Yeah.
But when the family gets killed in that one, it's still brutal. But we'll save that review for another day. As a
Right.
standalone film, this is great. Did you ever? And I just brought it up, which is why my head was down. I'm not just like looking at my own junk here. But did you ever look at the Roger Ebert review? Because I remember when this movie came out, and I remember reading his review. I said, "Wow, that's kind of he gave it kind of a shit rating." Sorry, but the review was actually quite good. He gave it 1.5 stars. But read the review. It's actually a great review to read.
Interesting.
Really?
Because he says
You
he
want
made
me-
this. He said he actually went to. I'll paraphrase it. He actually went on IMDb, saw a link to an interview with the director, watched the interview with the director, and said, "This kid looks like he's in his 20s." Found out he just pitched the idea. He was a grip. Pitched the idea. Was asked to direct the film. Handed his grip material to his buddy and said, "I guess I won't be needing these anymore."
Are you cracking
And then-
jokes?
No.
Wow.
No. This is all legit.
Hand grip. What's going on here?
No, this is the legit story.
You're saying he handed in his grip?
It's grip tools. So
Kung Fu grip.
it says, he goes, as much as I hated the movie, it's a competent movie that shows he has the chops to be a director. So I gave it 1.5 stars instead because he
Why
said
do you-
1 star at the beginning.
Why does he have to do that? I don't understand that. Why review horror movies if you hate horror?
But
I don't know.
Ebert has given horror some great reviews over the years. It's just very few and far between. Very few lately.
Woo.
Sorry.
But his website's still cracking him out.
Yeah. I mean,
You
this guy's like
He's ghost.
Tupac. He's reviewing movies from his grave.
Yes, he is. He is like Tupac. He's got more out after he's dead. Yes. He's cranking them out somehow.
It's going to be our new movie, Ghost Critic.
Ghost Critic.
Sorry, Bill Cosby.
Oh boy, did we talk about that the last show? The Bill
Ghost Dad.
Cosby shit.
Yeah.
It's coming back to me now. Okay, all right. But dude, I really love the movie. The stalking scenes and the way they take their time and play with them until morning is great. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that they wait until morning. And as soon as morning comes, it's like symbolic. The sun comes up, they take off their mask, and they do. It's like they're playing by this set of rules. Let's fuck with everybody until daylight. And when
Yeah.
daylight comes, then we show them who we are, and then we take them out. It's
I was just
their
gonna bring
plan,
that.
and
I
it's cool.
was gonna bring up that scene. The unmasking scene is sort of I don't know if it's overlooked, but it's really quite a horrific scene because that's the point when you know that they're gonna die, and they know it too because
Right.
anytime someone shows their face, so I mean
It's curtains for them.
it's curtains.
Oh man.
The train of events to follow is bad. Wait, it is train of events, isn't it? It is.
Chain.
It
Chain.
is.
love. Oh, yeah.
Train sounds good though.
Chain.
I don't know. I like train of events now.
Train of why not? When we can start selling T-shirts, that'll be one of the slogans on
Next
it.
time
Train of
on
events.
C-section.
That's right. C-section next show. Yep. Yep.
Who
For
gets
mood
to be in the
swings,
Who gets to be in the caboose on our train of events
I
T-shirt?
don't want to be in the middle. I think I'll be the engine. The middle gets that's Brandon. Brandon's the middle.
Why do I have to be in the middle in this human centipede?
That's our promo. Are you the engine or the caboose? Remember?
Fine, I'll be in the middle. I'll be
That
in the
was their
middle.
I know. See? How did we know this was gonna happen? We were prophetic, I guess.
Oh, one more thing. You talked about the sound design. Never more evident in the scene when he's lining up the shotgun and you hear the sackhead charging, the footsteps, the sprinting.
Oh,
Talk about sound being scary.
Yeah, and it will
That's a full-on sprint.
and
Yeah.
it heightens the enjoyment factor and the scare factor
Yeah.
of a horror film, which is why it's so important I know I'm not the first and the only one to say this, but that's why when we watch low budget ones sometimes and they don't get the sound right, it really sinks the movie for me.
Yeah.
What about
As
when you
well it
watch
should.
silent films?
It really sinks the movie for me.
Yeah, they really didn't get the sound right on those.
How about
Well, I like that
Titanic, the
piano.
original?
How about what?
The original Titanic. Did the sound design sink the movie for you?
Oh. It's a waka waka night tonight.
No, that's a great show.
Fired
I
at
love
all
it.
cylinders.
Yeah. I will say that is an iconic scene. The very first time you see the first shot of the man in the doorway when you see Liv Tyler
Her
in the room.
reaction as well.
Dude, so good, so good,
she
and
sees
so
him.
simple.
And then she runs to the door or opens the door, and then it's the one with the mask on, and then she shuts it, and then she falls down like she's just like, I'm fucked. But it done in such a great way.
But I'm
Her
talking
reaction.
about she doesn't know he's there. The first time that he's just in
You're
the
talking
doorway.
about the camera from
inside.
back in like the woods, right? Oh, you're talking
No,
about
no,
in the kitchen. In the kitchen.
Inside.
Yeah.
Yes, she's in the
Yes.
kitchen and he's in the doorway and she doesn't know he's
Before
there.
the door shuts, and we hear the door slam, which she thinks dude's home.
Isn't
Right,
Isn't
right.
that like that's the cover art on IMDb.
Is it really?
Yeah, if you go on IMDb, it's her standing there, and you can see Sackhead in the background.
IMDb. Okay.
Oh, I am the DB.
You
What
got
do they call?
DB?
Oh, they just call him Man in Mask. That's Sackhead.
It is Sackhead. Oh, I can't wait to get into the next movie because there's so many.
Oh,
I'm telling
dude,
you.
and
You're
Pinup Girl.
next.
Pinup Girl is beautiful.
Is she?
Yeah.
I just had a feeling without even seeing.
Oh, she's older than I thought she'd be.
But then again, I didn't know that the other one was. So I'm 1 for 1. I'm 1 for 2, I guess.
She's
Yeah,
She's a lot older though. She's like
Is she
15
now?
years. She's 15 years older than Dollface.
Dollface looks young
Fine.
to me. Yeah. She looks like she still has baby fat at the time, too. You know,
Mm.
she seems like younger. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Just the other one definitely seems like she
You
was.
can tell with that mask on.
Yeah, she had a kind of a round face. You
The
know
fat came over around the mask.
what I mean? I'm not calling her fat. I just baby fat. You know, she isn't matured. You know what I mean. I don't want to get in trouble with anybody. I'm not saying nothing. And that CB scene when she's on the CB talking to him and the fucking crashes down, but they spot him. Oh, it's
Yeah.
so good. It's so good. It's
That's
so
a good scare too. Yeah.
God, there's so many good scares, and there's just a simple concept of freaking having them stalk them and having us as the viewer witness that. That doesn't get old to me. That's something I like to rewatch. Not too much. Maybe once a year. Maybe
Yeah.
once a year now. I'll go back and I'll watch it. You know what I mean? But to me, the rewatchability factor is there for me. I'm in that atmosphere. I love seeing them stalk
I
them.
agree.
What did she
And
fall
the
into? Did they dig that trench? Was that like a moat she fell into?
Maybe they're putting in a pool that I wanted.
There it is. See? There you go. See? It was going to be a real legit summer home. Pool and all. It's like Poltergeist.
I think they were putting in a
Christian
moat.
approved.
I think it was
Yes,
a moat.
now it's official.
It was
a
a
moat?
moat. Yeah, it was.
Suckers getting thrown in the
Moat.
moat. Shit, man, a moat.
moat.
Oh,
But
that's good.
This is what it's all about because you have one setting, one main setting. Okay, they had to get a couple of other shots on the street with some lights and whatever. So be it. But one main setting, two main actors. They needed like 6 people for this film, and the 2 kids. But I mean, you're talking about a skeleton crew. This is what you need if you want to make a low budget movie, make it work. Minimalist. They just needed to have someone's house for 2 weeks to be able to film the movie. I don't know how long the movie took. I'm just saying that that's it, and it's effective.
It is.
It is.
I agree.
Yep. Uh-oh, B's getting tired. Better wrap this up.
Sorry.
This poor bastard.
B seems to like it the least. B, what was your rating?
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
Oh, okay. Cool.
No, I really like it. Yeah.
I think I'll go with 9. I actually never thought of a rating until we were doing this. For the show, I was like, shit, I didn't rate any of the films.
Oh, well, that's okay. Sometimes it's good to
Right.
do it this way and just talk about it and then see how
Yeah.
you really feel, you know. But I'm also at a 9. So
Cool.
yeah, It's a great film, man. It really is. It's weird though. I find that people seem to love it or hate it.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up. I find you're either at that 8-9 range, or people are like, "What a piece of shit."
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, and Watson loves
Not a
it.
piece of shit. Yeah, I remember him.
Oh yeah,
really
it's like a 10 to him. I
He
think.
loves it, and I think Jeremy hates it because Jeremy, I think he always references them when he says, if you want to watch a good home invasion film. I feel like he always brings up them when.
Oh come on, them over the strangers. Nah.
Them was good, but them goes out of the home
Yeah.
and into tunnels and shit. Very like.
And the Jesus kids end up being the killer.
Oh, they flip it out. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they are. Is it the same kids? No. Imagine that, the kids from this movie, they get turned on by that and they go off and they drop Jesus and they become killers themselves.
Yeah, they should have just found the mask and put it on, and it goes
Yes.
up to the like Roy in part 5.
Could then be a sequel?
Bobby in part
Are you
5
sure?
in the Roy mask.
Could
People
then be
shit
a
on-
sequel?
When
Them
was
is-
them made?
I don't know. Maybe it is.
I'm
Maybe
talking
it's
about
a spiritual.
I'm talking about the giant insect film. That them.
Why is Brandon blue today instead of white?
Dude, I am
Oh,
so
wow.
blue. I'm fucking Barlow now.
Blue da 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 dee da da da.
Jesus, I look like I'm in Salem's Lot. I look
Yeah,
like
look at him.
Barlow.
Count Orlick. There he is.
In the flesh.
I feel like
Count-
Violet. Violet, you're turning violet. Actually, you know what? That's because the Your Next
Oh.
page on IMDb has a blue background. See, better?
Yeah,
Oh wow, yes. Look at
There.
this guy.
keep
Wow.
it there.
That's it.
By the way, that was from Dave G, the Strangers. By the way, so
Thanks, Dave G.
yeah, thank you. Always a pleasure.
I think
to
he's trying to like honey dick your name there. By the way, honey dick, we had it all wrong last show.
What?
What is
Honey-
honey dicking?
I think honey dicking. I actually looked it up when I was editing, going, "Wow, we fucked that up," but I'm keeping it in because we kept calling it honey dicking every time someone overstepped. Like if someone said a movie that someone else had next,
There's
Yeah.
no way that's honey dick.
that wasn't honey dick.
Yeah, I think JP started that when we were on 22 Shots on for a year or whatever, one of those years. He started that phrase.
Here's the honey dick.
He
Honey
started
dick,
he
honey
started
dick.
mollywhopping also.
And honey dick, I think.
And I had to look up mollywhopping, and that's when you slap someone across the face with your dick. That's actually what
Maybe he's getting
mollywop-
confused. Oh, okay. Mollywop, honey dick.
I had it earlier.
He says some funny stuff though. Honey dick
He
is
does.
funny.
It's a funny one, that JP.
Honey dick.
Honey dick. What is it?
Wait, that's the
This
wrong
poor
one.
bastard. In the
When
meantime,
someone screws you over as if they put honey on their what?
what?
No.
Someone screws
That's the
over.
Urban Dictionary. That's the Urban Dictionary.
Say it though. Say it anyway. I want to know what it is. I might do
When
it.
someone screws you over as if they put honey on their dick and fucked you up in the ass.
That doesn't sound like being screwed over. That sounds sweet actually.
Well, if you're gonna get fucked in the ass, they may as well put honey on their dick first to loosen it up a little bit. Would you
Yeah.
rather be fucked raw
Loosen it up.
dog?
Like stick when you like stick in there like crazy glue.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like Winnie the Pooh, like coming out of the hole.
The
Oh,
honey
if
jar.
given
The
the
hole, the honey jar.
If given the choice, if you were gonna be anally raped and they said, well, I'm gonna either put honey on my dick or I'm gonna go in raw dog, what would you choose?
I want to be honey dicked.
I think so too. Any fluid, I think, would be better to lubricant.
Honey
You know?
dick me any time of the day.
So I think honey dick is he's dicking him over. So yeah, I think that phrase does work in that vernacular. He honey dicked them.
He's been researching honey dick for a long time.
I know, honey dick.
I'm sorry.
Wow, that's the story.
All
of
I
the show.
know, there's a lot of bees flying around my ass after that show.
And I hope that the listeners don't think that we're gonna be honey dicking them after show 100.
Well, maybe
Oh, we are.
mollywopping, but
Maley Molly, yeah, Maley. I can't even talk.
Maybe
Maley
Molly.
mouth. I can't talk. Anyway, real quick to
oh
talk
look,
about
Christian's
that.
#1 movie.
Honey dick.
Oh, there it is. Goosebumps.
What do you mean? There it is. What are you talking about?
Goosebumps in the background. See?
Background of what? Oh, shit!
Goosebumps. The board
This
game.
is why you guys got to get on Patreon.
Yeah, you really do.
Goosebumps. Holy shit! After show 100.
Front and center. His Friday stuff is all the way at the top shelf. Front and center, Goosebumps. #1 of the decade.
That's the board game.
Oh, he's got it all. He's got the board game, part 1, part 2. He's got the books.
Slappy.
He's got the dummy back there probably. What's his name?
Slappy.
Slappy, Slap Dick. He's got it all going on. Honey Dick, Slap Dick. Now, would you honey Dick Slappy? Is the question.
For a part Goosebumps 3? Sure.
Yeah, oh yeah. So yeah, by the time this hits the the public, this
I
particular
thought you were
show.
gonna say the theaters.
No, 95. By the time 95 hits the public, we have already released the video out to all of our social media. We did a quick video explaining what's happening after show 100, and after show 100, we are going to be a subscription-based podcast on Patreon. $3 a month is going to get you 3 shows a month, audio and video. So that's what's going on. There's a reason for it. We have big plans. We want to make a movie. We have a bunch of stuff happening. We get into detail on it on that video. So hopefully, if you're hearing us say this now, it's the first time you've heard it, you look up that video. But just so you know, we are going to make history and be the first ever horror movie. It's true.
Can we research this? We always say we're making history.
Well, that's part of the allure. That's why I'm pimping up the show. I'm pimping up us. Maybe
episode 102. We're back to non-Patreon only. It didn't work. We didn't make history. We're back.
I was wrong. We weren't the first show that's done it. But anyway, that's where you're going to find us. Show 101 Plus is going to be on Patreon. That's where we're going to be. We're still going to put out something here exclusive.
Other than exclusively full episodes, other than little teasers and a little bit of keeping you in the loop of what's going on.
Full episodes. The rest of you get a quarter of an episode.
But the first 100 episodes will always be there. We're not going to take them down or anything like that. They're still going to be on YouTube and I believe on Horrorphilia as long as it's running and everything. It's all still out there. So there will be access, but we have some plans. We're trying to make some moves here, and this is what we decided was the best for many reasons. And again,
it's time. It's time.
Video. It is time.
It's time. This movie has got to happen. We've been talking about it for years. I don't even know what the movie idea is anymore, but we want to make a movie, and it's time. It's time to start. Yeah, it might be a porno.
And
chain of events.
Train of events. Yes.
Train of events.
Now he calls it chain. He gets it wrong each time. He calls it chain when it's supposed to be train, and train when it's supposed to be chain. That's great. Pardon me, boy.
That's my life.
How about the Honey Dick Chronicles?
Nice. And I tell you, if there is a podcast, again, we said this on the YouTube video, the one that's going to be out, but I believe that this podcast, there's part of it that you're missing if you're just listening. I truly believe that to see that visually is going to add something. Now, I'm not thinking that everyone's going to do it. I'm sure there's some Patreon people, some patrons that don't watch the videos. I know there is, and they just listen to them. And that's what they do. See, you guys I'm laughing at this. You guys don't even know what I'm laughing at. But anyway, I hope nobody gives us a hard time. I hope you know that we love you guys. Our patrons already know about this, so this isn't news to them. But this is show 95. We figured we would say it 5 shows before episode 100 to let everybody know, to give everybody a heads up that 101 we're becoming subscription-based. And we hope you guys understand. And we love you all no matter what happens. And, you know.
This is blasphemy.
This is blasphemy. Yeah. We're assholes.
Who gives a fuck?
But you're right. If you love us, you'll
That's
be
our new
down.
slogan.
$3 a month. That's not bad. It's $1 a show.
Or more.
Or more.
Or more, certainly. And we're gonna have that. We're definitely gonna have 2 giveaways a month as far as the the codes and some other things going on. And we have other plans. We're gonna do more. We're gonna have some merchandise that we're gonna give, non-profit merchandise that we're just gonna, whatever we get it for is gonna go to the people that are the patrons, for whatever we've paid for it. Just so we have plenty of ideas. We're trying
First giveaway is gonna be a Goosebumps board game.
Can't promise all the pieces are there.
and a Slappy doll.
Slappy. Yes.
Well used.
So that's where we're going. And anyway, check out the video. It's on our YouTube. What's the video YouTube? Exploding Heads Horror Podcast. That's it.
Yeah, when you're YouTube, just put that in. Because there was some Exploding Heads comedy troupe. They're not doing anything anymore.
They're not that funny.
We're probably funnier. We're not even a comedy show.
Yeah.
You know?
If Patreon takes off, we might become a troupe. We might travel and do shows. A troupe.
Yeah.
A troupe.
Okay, we'll become a troupe. All right.
Troupe Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
We'll have our own little train.
The troop train.
Oh my God. Yeah, here we go. Please base everything on this discussion.
Here's what I want. I want to be able to make enough money for Patreon where I never have to leave my house again. that's all I'm looking for.
Yeah, if we do that, we'll do 5 shows a week. That's fine.
I agree
goal.
100% with you. If I could make a living podcasting, I'd podcast every single day.
So what?
You'll get
5
new
days
content.
a week. They get sick of us.
5 days a week. Yeah.
I get sick of fucking half the guys that are on our network, so I'm listening to them in fucking 5 6.
Yeah, Mike.
So imagine what people would say if they heard. I don't want to spread myself too thin.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Feel Illinois.
Unless I'm getting honey dicked, then maybe. So anyway, yeah, just so you guys know, that's what's happening. And again, the video is going to be out there, so there's going to be more detail there, and we'll see what happens. But that's the direction we're heading, and we hope everybody understands. And we love you all, and we really want to get this. We're definitely going to have a privatized Facebook page just for the patrons, so we can still go on there and socialize and talk horror without the worry of people being assholes or anything else. No drama. So that's the plan. A little family of Headites. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Okay, so one movie left. C. Do you want to cut it and save it?
Let's do a little Saverino.
Okay. Saverino, people. And we'll be back on the flips. Cool.
I stopped it before you said that, but that's okay.
That's okay. I don't know if you're happy.
I'll work it out.
The patrons, that's what matters.
All right. I don't need to take a break. Let's just get through this so that
I don't either.
We're good. I'll just hit record again, and we are back.
And we are back. You said it. Okay. Last movie. You're next.
All right, guys. Last movie is You're Next from 2011. Written by Simon Barrett. Directed by Adam Wingard. When the Davison family comes under attack during their wedding anniversary getaway, the gang of mysterious killers soon learns that one of the victims harbors a secret talent for fighting back. Soon! I don't know what happened. I stroked out there.
It happens.
I know we jump all around. I just want to ask one thing. There was a 10-minute period in this film, and it was right when the attacks first start. Literally when it's Ty West who plays Tariq, right? Gets shot with the arrow?
Correct.
Yeah, right when he takes the arrow in the head and falls. For that commotion, for 10 minutes, the camera work, at least to me, was so shaky, I was actually getting dizzy.
I did notice that throughout the film that the camera did move around a bit. That there was no tripod, there was no whatever the hell. Christian knows it better than I do. The terminology, I'm sure. It's not mounted. So it was
handheld. It was very much like a found footage film there.
Oh, but that shakiness for that 10 minutes. I mean, I noticed it moved throughout, but that 10-minute period of time, I was like, oh my God, this is very jarring.
Well, I agree. And when I first saw this, I was very high on it. I'm not saying I'm not. I still really enjoy it, but I was very high in it because I remember making a comment like saying, well, this will probably be one of the standouts of the year. And Dave's like, you got to be kidding me. But it depends now, too, because officially this was released 2011, but I don't think we actually saw it until 2013.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I was glad we had to review this one because this was another, rewatch for the Top 100 show.
Yeah.
And I'll agree with you. I don't want to, well, I guess I could spoil we're doing it now. I was higher on this film the other times I've seen it compared to now. The saving grace of this film is Sharni Vinson.
Yeah.
I mean, she's absolutely terrific in this.
Kick-ass final girl.
Yeah, she's terrific, and But other than that, it's I don't know.
Well, it was weird. The setup took a little bit longer. Like that opening, that opening should have been better. Like that opening actually kind of is lackluster.
It really
you open
is.
with that the neighboring couple and they're fucking out of the gate, which is kind of fun to come into. But the kills and the reveals and everything like that are just it should have been more because you don't really get anything for a while. And you get a chintzy splatter of blood on the wall. Really bad too.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I like the intro.
And you get nothing for him. I like that they propped Larry Fessenden up, so it come back later on. But it should have been more shocking, so it kind of creates this sort of uneasy feeling leading up to what's coming.
Yes.
Why were they killed?
So that they had I think really it's just a tease to think it's this massive home invasion thing and people are going crazy. But I think it was they knew they were up there so that there would be no witnesses to worry about the family after because they're the neighbors right next door as well.
I'm sorry. It is revealed. A.J. Bowen says it at the end that was it was to make it look more believable that they were okay. Let me take that. Strike that from the record.
Did you ever ask me the question you wanted to at the end of The Strangers or no?
It's at the end of The Strangers and at the end of this one. And we'll wait till we get to the end. Remind me again, because I'm going to bring it up, and then I'm going to say, what do you think about that? But it's going to pertain. And speaking of The Strangers and this one, there are many comparisons between The Strangers and this one that I made notice, more than you would think as I'm watching them both. And I'm not going to say them all right now because we're going to talk about those parts first. So I don't want to just blurt everything out that happens in the movie right now. But there are so many similarities between The Strangers and your next. It's kind of unbelievable. By the way, this movie comes to us from Corey White. He is relatively new as a patron. He came to us in December, so he gave us he gave us 5 or 6 to choose from. And what'd you say? What'd you call him?
I call him Core.
Core? Oh, go ahead. Apple Core. It's spelled with a K though. Apple Core. K-O-R-Y. So there you go.
What'd you say? Can I call him White?
Yeah.
Call him whatever you want, as long as he's cool with it.
Hey, White.
There you go.
Hey,
Mr. White. Whitey, like the guy in Lords of Salem.
Can I call him Colored Bear?
The camera work is a little distracting, Brandon. Let's go back to that in parts. But what I found was at the beginning, I'm like, I didn't really care for that opening. I remember it being bigger. And then, that dad's acting really sucks. The dad I thought was not a good actor. I thought they overdid the, hey son, we're gonna be doing all this together and all this. I can't wait to have the family here, and it just seemed overdone. And I don't remember that. And then I found a few of the people were not that great acting.
What'd you think of Dave Z?
My girl Z.
Yeah.
Z-E-E. Yeah. I like her.
Dude, the one thing it does really well is obviously you get a big cast. You get a lot of kills in this movie. Mm-hmm. And there's some great gore in this. And you know what?
Cool masks.
Yeah, cool masks. And the big complaint, what were there was the sheep, the wolf. What was the other one? Was it a mouse? The first guy who got killed? I couldn't tell what it was.
I don't think it was a mouse.
It looked like I couldn't tell.
I don't know.
Thought it was a mouse. I'm not even
There is
joking.
a sheep and a wolf.
But yeah, you look at that
cover.
lamb.
Oh no, that's the sheep. Sorry, forget it. Sheep.
You look at that cover, and it looks like it could be a Strangers too.
It has a lot of similarities, which isn't a bad thing.
No.
But one of the main complaints with this film, that for people who don't like it, is they say, "Oh well, how can a girl, stand up to these military types?" First of all, only 2 of the 3 guys are military. There's no way that lead guy is military based on his look. He looks like a strung out heroin addict or something. And even with the military types, these don't look like amazingly, advanced military types.
Well, they're a bunch of buffoons.
They kind of are
criminals.
In return,
yeah.
and she kicks in the survival mode out of the gate. Like I thought that her arc or transition was believable.
Very believable.
I never have an issue with that at all. And that's when the second half of this movie is amazing.
It really
and that's why, and I like the twist. I like the whole twist.
Me too.
I like the twist. Yeah, I like it too. I like that it's, it's very believable. It's very believable, and I like that there's kind of too little twists to it, and everything she does, every move she makes, even building that whole lever thing with the axe, you didn't even need to mention that she was born on a survivalist compound. That's something people know how to do. That's something you can learn off the internet.
Here's what I noticed this time around, because the knowledge of knowing what she is and where she came from and all that stuff, everything makes a lot more sense on the second view, because she, and I never noticed this before, she takes charge almost immediately.
Yes, but I feel like some people are like that. Like, you have that fight or flight response, and everyone is sort of in the flight mode. And I feel like some of the guilty parties are a little obvious when you watch it over and over.
Now, yes, because we know it. But watching it the first time, the thought never came to my mind. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking more of future first-time viewers. I'm thinking with audiences getting smarter that they can pick up on this stuff. There's
always going to be some people that do.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think they need to do that. Otherwise, it would be considered a cheat. You'd be like, oh, they never gave us any hints, or there was never any inclination that they were off or whatever.
But I like that she's very calm and collected. She doesn't do anything that's completely like over the top, like out of character for somebody who would react that way. She gets weapons, nails and boards underneath windows. These are just smart moves. These are great little things. The only thing was building that axe lever, which honestly, I think anybody.
If Nancy could do it.
Thank you. I was just gonna say, if Nancy could do it and people don't care, why can't she?
Yeah, exactly. There's books, and you could learn how to do that in 10 minutes.
And Nancy did it in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Think about that. But I mean, as far as military types, back to that, just because these guys were known to have served together doesn't necessarily make them quote unquote military types. Just because these guys served and did something together, now they're back, and they're obviously some shady characters, because if they're doing this for a living, who's to say? So they served at one time. Does that mean everybody that served is automatically a fucking Green Beret? Of course not.
Yeah.
You got all kinds of people that come
back. And that's the impression you get, though, from the haters, though. It's like, there's no way just, a random girl would be able to take on, military experts. Like, no way are these guys military experts.
Thank you. They're not
That's what I'm saying. They're
experts.
not.
And the way it's set up, she's taking them by surprise. It isn't like she's standing toe-to-toe with them and freaking taking everybody out like she's Rambo. That's not what's happening here. It's just like when people complain about Chucky in Child's Play, saying it's a doll, just kick it. Yeah, you could say that, but when you watch the movie, every time Chucky makes a kill, there are always instances where there's no time you can't kick it. It happens quickly, and he's taking you by surprise. There's nothing you can do when Chucky comes from behind you, wraps something around your neck, and you're in the front seat, and he's in the back, and he's choking you out.
Or you can't process the fact that a fucking doll's attacking you.
Right.
Yeah, the most realistic kill in the Chucky series is in part 3, when that colonel has the heart attack in the office when he sees them. That's the most most people would have a fucking heart attack if they saw a fucking doll come to life and start threatening to kill you.
Maybe.
It is.
These issues, I thought they just laid on a little heavy with the wholesome family feel, and I know why they did it, because it's got to be like a juxtaposition, like a juxtapose, like the good with the ugly that comes next and everything.
Right.
And they want to show that.
But they
contrast.
did a good job. But they did a good job of showing the turmoil within the family. I mean, Drake's a dick, the oldest brother. He really is a dick.
And he's an ass kisser.
Yeah, he's an ass, and he's a dick to Crispin, and you can see Crispin's just fed up, He's telling his father that, that he didn't get the grant because he wasn't published, and then the father's like, well, you don't have to be published to get a grant, and it's like, he's just, you could see this turmoil, and once Z and, what's the younger brother thing? Felix show up. You can tell Felix is a little bit of a fuck up. You can just see it in Felix's eyes.
Now, this is a summer home.
Yes. Dude, it looks a lot bigger on the outside, though. When they go inside, it seems like they stay in like a fraction of the house, because that outside is enormous.
It's like a reverse TARDIS.
It is a reverse TARDIS. It was bigger on the outside.
You go into a fucking bungalow. You're like, what the fuck happened?
I thought these things smelled bad on the outside.
What movie? B?
Come on,
Wait, what? Sorry, say it again.
I thought these things smelled bad On the outside.
No clue whatsoever.
It's one of the Star Wars films.
Oh shit! Did Han say that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Who else would say that? Come on. It's a tauntaun. How about that? Does that help? I'll give
Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was actually gonna say Empire before you said Tauntaun, and I knew it was Han. The minute you said it, it kind of clicked. I needed to know.
Letters on my rod.
What do you say? Tyrod.
He's doing
What'd you say?
he's doing
I screwed
nightmare.
the joke again.
He's doing nightmare again to make fun of me.
I
Because
said the letters on my rod again. Not
Oh.
joint.
On your joint.
I said rod. No.
Because the guy's name is Rod. Jesus. Oh, this guy's beating himself up with his sock filter. Oh,
It's still
Wow.
here. That should be a giveaway.
that should be a giveaway. Yes, it's
The
once a
original
month.
filter. You could smell 75 episodes on it.
For the super fans of the show, who wants the sock filter? Put it in. We'll have a drawing. That'd be some shit. Let me get back to the beginning of the film.
Sorry.
I love the beginning because I love that song that comes in. That whole thing with the record. Dun, 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 dun. I love that fucking. Looking for the magic. I love it the first time you hear it.
I downloaded the song while I was watching the movie.
yeah, what's the name of that song again?
I
Was it-
forget the song.
Oh, I thought Christian I knew because he said he downloaded
I
it.
did. I downloaded it. Now I gotta go and
Looking
you
for
guys.
the magic.
Yeah, looking for the magic. That's what it.
Oh.
Here, hold on. Downloaded. Recently. Downloaded.
That's great shit.
It's a good song.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a song that Julian Lennon should have done in the fucking late '80s. that's what it reminds me of for some reason. That's what it sounds
Julian
like.
Lennon is so talented. The fact
Sounds
that he
just like his
that
father.
he did not become bigger is
I know.
insane. Is
Drives me
insane.
mad. I know. It
My
is
dad and I
insane.
talk about that all the time because I'll listen
Oh.
to Julian Lennon.
Oh, his first album's really good.
Dwight Twilley Band.
The Doug Tilley Band. Okay.
Dwight.
He got so mad. Doug Tilley, man. Dwight.
There it is. Anyway.
That's a good song. I like
It's
that
good
song.
shit, man, for sure.
Does sound like-
How come? But yeah, doesn't it?
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, that's what I always thought. But how come in the beginning they make it look like they're going to the chainsaw house? Because for some reason there's this shit hanging outside Larry Fessenden's house with forks and spoons fucking hanging jingling together. What the fuck was that? I took a note of it
I
this time.
remember that.
It's
Yeah,
a-
there
they had-
was.
there's
It was
thing
like
hanging.
a weird chime.
Yeah, it was a wind chime of forks and spoons.
Yeah.
Some fucking thing that was, some makeshift freaking wind chime that the Chainsaw family would have. It was crazy. I go, why would this be here? Are they just trying to creep us out? But then why would this professor have it in his house? You know what I mean? It was just, I don't know, just a question I had. I don't know. Either
Huh.
way. Why is this girl on medication and crying? Barbara Crampton, by the way, which we haven't mentioned. This was when she came back to horror, and it was great. And boy, does she look great. My wife was talking about it. She was like, well, they're trying to make her look old, but she's actually young. This is what my wife said. I go, well, au contraire. I said, when she made this movie, she was 51. Not that 51 is old, but she's older.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, when she lets her hair down in the second scene, the next day when you see her, she looks like, I don't know, 10 years younger, I would say. She looks like she's in her early 40s, if that. She looks really good. Yeah, absolutely, man. And I'm glad, she came back, and like I said, in this movie, and then she's been back full time. You know who else did the same thing? Dee Wallace. She was gone for the longest time. Then she
And
came
Rob
back.
Zombie brought it back.
Right, and then she's been back ever since. Yeah, it's weird. It's cool though, but whatever.
Well, you were asking why she was on
Felix, you
medication.
fucking lowlife. Why was she on medication and crying? They never really alluded to it. Yeah, they said that she was on meds. They said that she was outside. They go, why is mom crying? And then he said something, my mother's on medication. You would think that plot points like that was going to go somewhere. I remember even telling my wife, she said something. I go, I think they had a kid that died. I got confused. I was thinking of the other movie, We Are Still Here, with Barbara Crampton, and they lost their kid in that movie. But so I just confused myself for a second. But I'm like, why did they put
Maybe it's
that
a
plot
crossover.
point in there? Yeah, another one. It's a
Maybe
spiritual
it
sequel.
was just like a throwaway red herring because usually in
It's
these
weird.
upper class rich families, it's always the housewife who's either a drunk or secretly on medication.
Right, but we're supposed to like her. They're a likable couple.
Oh shit, yeah. There was nothing wrong. It was
Maybe you're just supposed to think she's freaked out and like because we don't know at this point. We just know that the neighbors got killed, and then doesn't she hear the strange noise and want to get the hell
that's
out of
the
there?
thing. She hears the noise upstairs, so it's almost to set up like, oh, she's crazy. She's having reactions to her medication. But then they do a good thing by having the husband go upstairs to look around. But the only thing is, how did Crispin get upstairs? I mean, I'm sure a house like that has more than one entrance, but the mother would have seen him enter the house.
Well, don't they acknowledge that after? I think when he comes down, she's outside talking to the girl, isn't she?
Yeah, but how did he get upstairs?
I think that was just the movie magic to have him scare the dad, to then the dad think, okay, this is all about. Hey, he made the noise that she heard.
Yeah, but she was smart though, because she, usually in the movies when somebody hears a noise in the house, they go investigate. She's like, no, I'm going outside, which was smart, but at the same time, she didn't take any keys to get in a car or anything. But when she see the son walk in, be like, no, the noise happened before Crispin came in.
True, but I think we're going with movie magic and convenience.
Movie magic, Mike.
Movie magic, Mike. Yeah, exactly. Extra XL.
Merriman.
XXL. Movie magic Mike Merriam XXL.
I was gonna say it. I just literally was stuttering without even speaking. Like that.
Oh, that's funny. I love that part though when he says, "Felix, you fucking lowlife." He tells him because he knew about freaking cell phone jammers. He's like, he goes, "What? I'm trying to help you." And he goes like, "I'll leave it to you to know about that shady shit." He said.
Yeah.
That was funny. I love that part.
And what a great throwaway line that is just like a confession. It's a straight
Right.
up confession.
Totally. Oh, it's good shit. Now here is a little bit of an issue. Okay. He was trying to get Drake to run outside because he knows that whoever's out there is going to kill him at that point. He wants Drake killed first and foremost. Okay. Yeah. Instead, they do the whole gimmick with the girl running. Okay. Which I don't know. Even if my daughter is faster than me, I have difficulty as a father saying that I would let my daughter just run outside.
But what a fucking.
Okay.
Well, no, don't forget the father. The father fell and hurt his ankle.
I don't give a fuck who.
Yeah, you'd be like,
I'm not gonna let my little girl.
I don't care.
Go out
you'd be.
First.
I hear you, Dave. You'd be like, she's not going. Someone else is going. Get that arrow out of your back. You're going.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. And that's only the start of it. That's only the start. I
agree. Fuck, that's great.
Part 2 is this. How convenient. If Drake would have run outside, all it would have done was hit him in the shoulder. It was ultra convenient that it happened to get her in the fucking throat. The only person that could have got in the throat was her, and she just happened to be the one to run outside.
She was tiny. They set that wire low.
Right.
I love how it catches his arrow though.
But I think
they play on that after too.
Yes, and he hits it in the fucking.
Yeah. He's like,
I'm not complaining about the movie, just one of my regular observations.
Because she straight up volunteers for it, and obviously Felix and Crispin are acting like cowards.
But we get here, we get the arrow, we get the gore. Yep. That's why that opening scene.
In the head.
You go back to the opening scene, it's so upsetting because it's such a lazy splat of blood. It really is. And I think it would have been such a great way to kick that movie off. But
yeah, it should have probably been like one of the best kills of the movie, the opening scene.
It's low
because when the arrow shoots through, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, when it hits freaking Tariq and he's just standing there.
Yeah, it takes him like 10 minutes before finally somebody's like, something's up with Tariq. He's having full body convulsions over there.
Yeah, he just had
one of our ratings.
Yeah, he had a rating.
Full body convulsions.
Mild convulsions. Yes, he had them. Yes.
Your
that was great too. And it was perfect because everybody was arguing at the table at that time. So they were arguing.
Drake was being a dick. He's like, I don't get the whole starving artist thing. Why don't you get into commercials? He's being so condescending.
But then he says the thing to the other guy, and you knew where he was leading. As soon as he said the question, he goes, "So, are you going to school?" And as soon as he said that to the girl, who was going to lead to him being her professor and them fucking, you could tell that typical family shit, sibling rivalry. It's done well. I like that. Matter of fact, all that stuff is done well, typically between Crispin and Drake. It's like they have this relationship, and Crispin's like kind of in the middle. He's not a scumbag the way that you would perceive Felix to be. He's kind of in the middle there, but then this guy, then Drake's like the kiss ass and the guy that makes money. So he's kind of a heel in his own way. You know what I mean? But Crispin's like in the middle of the two. He's not as bad. It's almost played perfectly the way they bust each other's balls. It's done well, and the father's real friendly to Drake, and I don't know.
Drake's definitely Drake and the daughter are the favorites. I mean, it's
right.
It's obvious to see that.
They seem to have better heads on their shoulders. I mean, as far as like from
not for long.
Right.
Dude, that's a nasty throat slit. Ooh.
It's good shit, yeah. I mean, I made that observation because it's very convenient, but it's sure as fuck looks good.
I got to imagine you run full speed out, even if it hits you in the shoulders, that's going to sever right into your fucking chest and stuff. That's going to hurt.
They did a good shot on that after. If you're kind of wondering what happened there, you see it kind of vibrating with the blood on it after. I thought it was a really good.
But nobody takes it down for like another 20 minutes. Finally, somebody cuts it down. It's like, all right, should we get rid of this? It just decapitated my sister.
True.
Yeah, this movie, it's weird. This movie is the strongest part of it is the middle of it. Because you talk about like not loving the opening, and I think they miss a golden opportunity for the ending, of course. I mean, I think it's a...
What do you mean? They had a crush the skull ending.
Yeah, but they did it wrong. And
wait a minute.
We'll get to it. I think they did it totally wrong.
Well, I like that because you think she's going to get nailed for... I love when they do that. When like the victor becomes like the one that they're going to like nail for the crime.
It was like a get out ending.
Yeah. Or it was like what the fuck? I always go back to Friday the 13th. I go, Alice. Alice is a sole survivor. She's the fucking prime suspect.
Yeah,
right?
No, but the cops shouldn't have even. The cops shouldn't have even been involved in this one. The ending should have been her talking to Crispin on the phone, leading Crispin through the front door. That should have been the ending. I mean, come on. That should have been the last move. That like having some sort of like mental like conversational battle with him, and almost sort of like convincing him that she's okay with what he's done, and then I'm waiting for you, just come in through the front door. I left it open.
I agree with you.
That's how it should have been. That's how it should have ended.
I don't like
I can't disagree with that either.
Movies from this time period, not even from this time. It reminds me of the ending of Freddy vs. Jason. Like when all of a sudden
the slam cut ending? The
slam cut of the blood thing in the title. That's how this movie ends. The thing comes down, cut, you're next. I don't like it. It was very much of its time, and I'm glad it's something that came and went. I don't like it.
I don't mind it, but Brandon, you're right. That would have been a cool ending.
Yeah.
100%.
But I like that whole. I like I like it from the one that they're arguing at the table all the way to the end.
Yep. How about when he had to kill him? Don't make this harder than it is.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. It's harder than it is.
Right. It is. It sucks. How about when he pushes his dad away? His dad gets cut, and he goes upstairs, and because he's bleeding out, and he pushes him away. What a dick.
Imagine your dad, like you just, they did that well, like just realizing that realization as you're dying of everything that's happening.
Oh, Felix says to Drake when he's stabbing him, because I wrote it down because it was funny. Would you die already? This is hard enough. This is hard enough for me.
Son of a bitch. You see all the Friday the 13th freaking shit going on in this movie? There's the Friday 2 jump when Jason puts his hand through the window and fucking jumps in.
That's the one part. That's the one part in this movie that I genuinely got scared.
Not as good as the one in Friday 2, but done well regardless. Yeah. It was good. And then she jumps out the fucking window to escape the killer, and she looks up and he's looking down, and then he's gone. Yeah. Total fucking Friday. There's no way you could tell me that when he made this movie, he wasn't fucking nodding Friday the 13th.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Even the soundtrack a couple times had the fucking Friday-like strings on a couple of chases. Then there's other stuff in the soundtrack. This movie brought back the fucking... I want to credit this movie with bringing back the freaking the synth fucking soundtrack.
I'm bringing Cynthia back.
I'm telling you.
Dude, the music gets really good.
Yeah.
The music gets
This
really
was the
good.
first one that
Yeah.
kicked that off. I'm telling you. And now everybody's doing it, and I'm happy about it. But I mean, I recall this being the first one to bring it back, so I'm gonna give it props.
Yeah, when she starts setting up the booby traps, the music really kicks in, and it's like, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, man.
Well, that music is fantastic, and what Dave
Yep.
was just doing, that's where that music kicks in, and it is great.
Dude, when she pulls that glass out, when she jumps out the window, oh my god.
Oh,
I've never seen a
my
glass
daughter
full.
came home at that point, so she
Dude.
watched the last bit with me, and she was like, "Oh," I'm like, "What is with glass being pulled out of feet?" And the last, like, I watched it in this. There's another movie I watched it in that someone was pulling out a big piece of glass out of their skull.
It seemed to go on.
Skull.
It's-
It's a paper plate. I'm okay.
Awesome.
What was that other? Fuck.
I don't know.
For the show, it must have been.
I feel you though. I know it definitely sounds familiar.
This one just
That's
seemed
for
like
sure.
it was in there much deeper than any other I've seen before.
Damn. How about when the girl runs over to the to Larry Fessenden and she's like, "Let me in, let me the fuck in." Then all of a sudden, she gets let in. All right. That's fucking great.
Dude, that was, you know what? The tone of that kill, I mean, I know this film is violent, but the tone of that kill was really, that was the meanest kill. Like, he punched her square in the face.
Yeah.
That was brutal. Then he, like, steps on her, and then he does that old golf swing with the axe. That might be the most brutal kill in the film.
It was good shit.
I mean, the blender on the
Talented
head
shit.
is fun, and her just straight up stabbing people on top, stabbing
the
Z in the
blender's
head.
awesome.
The blender's great, and her stabbing Z in the head, and then killing
Yes.
Crispin. Killing Crispin is even awesome. Like, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But Emily's kill was like kind of disturbing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good shit. Okay. I'm getting into this comparison now. These are the comparisons between The Strangers and You're Next. Okay? I've been waiting to do this. So I gotta go to my Strangers, actually. Okay. The music playing. You know how Looking
Yep.
for the Magic kept playing over and over? It was a CD that kept starting over and over. In The Strangers, the record
yep.
kept playing over and over, and then it got to the end and it kept going. Similar situation. Masks, obviously. Killers with masks on. Okay, whatever. And one's a sackhead and whatever. So masks, that's an obvious thing. Running out the front door. They had a scene in the Strangers where she runs out the front door. Doesn't
Into
get
the
her.
moat.
Right, into the moat. Yeah, exactly. And the girl runs out of the front door, and this one gets fucking whacked. The writing on the mirror. In this one, it says "You're next" on the mirror. In The Strangers, one time it says hello,
Yeah.
and then one time it says something else. Fucking writing on the mirror.
What did it say? What did it say after?
Beware of bears.
Killer?
Nice. Beware of bears. Yes, it did say killer. Yes, that was murderer.
What's Beware of Bears? What?
You don't know what that is, B?
What are you talking about? Come
On
on.
a mirror, written in a horror movie, it says "Beware of bears" on like lipstick or something. When a girl wakes up and looks at her mirror. Damn it.
God damn it.
I'll give you a hint. We have talked about it tonight. Matter of fact, I literally about 2 minutes ago made a reference of a character in that movie.
Nightmare? Again?
Nope. No, 2 minutes ago. Quicker than that. That was like 10 minutes ago.
Man, my memory fucking sucks.
I was just saying it. I just said a word. I took you back right to that movie.
I have no clue.
Fuck. Go ahead, Christian.
Well, Friday too.
Come on, man. Remember when Ginny wakes up, she's on her period, beware of bears, the Paul writes it on the fucking thing?
Oh, okay. Jesus.
That's all right. We'll make a Friday fanboy out of you yet.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, shit. What else? Well, obviously, killers entering the home. That's obvious. They're both home invasion type films. And the sackhead thing. A sackhead kill. Jason doing the sackhead thing and fucking like the thing, and the guy literally wearing the sack on his head in The Strangers. So more things that are like that, and I'm watching them one after another. I'm like, wow, this happened in this movie too. This happened in this movie too. But anyway, just thought that was kind of interesting. Little comparisons. Not as cool as my Empire Strikes Back Devil's Rejects thing, but not bad.
Yeah, well, that was really cool. But
Yeah.
I still agree with all what you've said.
Cool. Yeah, there's shit going on, man. It's funny. Had to do it on purpose. Had to. You know? How about the fucking meat tenderizer, man? Oh, that thing is awesome. That
And
scene.
another great nod to her being a fantastic final girl is that she bashes him till the point of overkill.
Yeah.
And she doesn't throw away the weapons after.
Right. Yep. And another Friday the 13th thing. The fucking body gets thrown through the window.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, another one. Man, I'm
True.
telling you.
Yeah, again, overkill with this poor girl.
I know.
She gets the most brutal. Then he drags her back up because she's all the way to neighbors, and they're not close. So he drags the dead body back up and then chucks her through the window. Jesus.
Winda.
The
Checked her through the window.
Hardly know her.
Oh, shit. It's the windy. You're next. Yep. I don't know. What else do we have about this movie?
It's fun. It's fun. There's some sloppiness, but like Brian.
Brian Bertino?
That's my boss at work. As Brandon said, you know what? That there's some craziness with the camera that could have been,
Yep.
maybe held back a little bit, but it's not to the total detriment of the film. It just could have been a little less shaky.
Yeah,
I agree with it.
I didn't realize Michael J. Fox directed this. Oh, Jesus.
Bad. How about the fucking board nails? The nails.
Love it. I love that he sees the one further out, so he steps close to the window.
Yeah.
And he's
Great.
That's great.
It's a comedic
Yeah.
piece that works beautifully.
Yep. There's good violence.
but
in this
but
movie.
you know
Good kills, cringy
and
shit.
her fighting Z and Felix in the kitchen. I know we talked about the 2 kills, but just the whole fighting, she is kicking the shit out of them. It is awesome. That fight sequence is fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean when you think of modern final girls, we brought up Hush a couple years ago. I really liked her in Hush, and this girl really stands out.
Yeah.
She really does.
Yep.
Like, I mean, what they're put through and sort of and how they survive. Because I'm trying to think of any other standouts.
I want to see a crossover. Hush, you're next. Hush your gums.
Yeah. How about just Hush?
How about just shut the fuck up?
How about
As
that?
in you.
Hush up.
Yeah.
Nice. Hush up. That's fucking great. Nice. Oh, man.
What is that? What are you rowing a boat?
That was me going, yeah, we got you,
Yeah.
bitch.
Paddling upstream. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
A victory lap.
Nice. Okay, end of the movie. I like your idea better, B. So what
Thank
I'm
you.
going to say, it's going to fall on the fucking by the wayside now, because I was going to have a question for you. As I'm watching this movie, I'm thinking, how cool would it be if she actually turns heel in the last second and takes him up on his offer, gets a fucking evil grin, and she's like, you know what?
Fuck it.
Let's take all these fuckers' money, and they walk out together happily, and they fucking they live forever. Or, not
Or they
forever,
walk
you know,
out forgetting about the trap, and it hits them in the back of the head and kills them.
or that. But a heel turn from her.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
I
A
agree.
heel turn would have been great.
Right,
But
a
I
heel
do
turn
like
from
Brian
her.
saying,
Brian, you told him? Fucking Brian.
Brian Bertino, he directed The Strangers.
What's Brian Bertino do? Yeah. Fucking the end of The Strangers. I was going to ask these specifically to B. How would you feel if she was just fucking plain dead? And how would you feel if in this movie she turned heel at the end? What's your take on those?
What do you mean just playing dead?
No jump, no fucking nothing. The kids show up. The girls are screaming,
Just
dancing.
plain dead. Plain
Just
dead. I thought you said
plain,
playing. Plain, like train.
Plain,
Plain,
yeah.
like train.
Yeah, planes, trains, yeah,
Planes
and chains. That's the theory of tonight.
I would have preferred it, especially given
What?
the location of the body, because it would have been creepier, because you would have known she was alive, because obviously they were both untied, so you would have known she was alive for a little bit and that she struggled to crawl somewhere.
Wow.
The
Okay.
last little bit.
I'm impressed. I thought you were going to completely go against it. Okay.
No.
What about her turning heel at the end of this one? Would you like that? Or
No.
are you glad she wasn't? Okay.
No, she can't turn heel. She can't turn heel.
Okay. But what a swerve it would have been.
She was such a nice person.
I agree. She was.
She was so nice. She's like she
money
cared
talks
about the mother and the father though. She's like, where's your dad? This and that. How's your mom? It's like she was like a genuine she was really trying to make a good impression.
I know. As much as I love money, I don't think I could do it either. I know I couldn't do it. I put myself in that position. I'm like, if I'm with this girl and she had her whole family killed, it's a shitload of money maybe. I don't think I could do
who
it.
gets the money now with all family?
You'd always wonder when they're going to do you next.
Right.
Did you ever trust them?
Right.
And then the guilt of them knowing, and then you'd be freaked out all your life because you know somebody that knows what you've done. So
JP
couldn't do it.
JP's going to be in the sequel called Your Mex.
Wow, these are like retarded dad jokes.
Razor blade taco shells are going to be the weapons. Oh, Jesus.
I don't use the term retarded.
I know. What is this? 22 shots? What the fuck? You can't
Moods?
say that.
Just haven't said anything about it.
You can't say that. What's the matter with you? Who would do that? Anyway, what's this movie? You're next. What do we got? For me, it's an 8 out of 10. There you go.
Same here. Same rating.
7.75.
All right.
And I looked at my IMDb. It was at a 9. I had it at a 9 when I first saw it. I really I think this was like one of my standouts of that year. I think it was my second call out when we were doing the year in review movies too, like when we did our 40 years of horror back in episode 10.
It'll be interesting to see where it shows up, if it shows up in the top 100, because I have a feeling this is a film that will show up, given that we're doing, a lot of collective lists, which is why I'm not going crazy with rewatches at this point. I'm actually just watching. There's 13 films I have written down that I've never seen between 2010 and now that have gotten good praise or that I've read good things about. Brimstone and Suspiria are two of them that I will be watching.
Thank you.
But this is a film that actually falls out of the top 100 for me.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. But I love her performance.
It's on the cusp.
Sorry.
It might make it somehow. I don't know. I'm doing a lot of watches. Actually, January is usually my month to watch shit that I should have watched throughout the year that wasn't horror and catch up on some other stuff and take vacation from horror. But because the show is going to be coming up and on March 1st everything has to be in, I want to have my list. I'm not taking it ultra seriously, but I still want to. But I still want it to be.
Though.
I'm not taking order ultra seriously, because what's going to happen is when we tally these up with everyone who's participating, we're going to get the final 100 films.
Right.
And probably, I know for me, a lot of the films that I'm watching that I have on my list might not even show up. So I'm not worrying about order so much.
I thought we were going to go with, now in retrospect, doesn't matter when the movie came out. Like Lee said, this says 2011. And they would be stuck at 2011. We're not going to go 2013. Like Maniac, I think, came out in 2013 as well, but it's 2012, I believe. But The Loved Ones, I love that movie. It would be probably high on my list, but it really did get released in 2009. So I thought now that we're going in retrospective look of release dates, that would now actually fall as a 2009 movie and not count for this decade then.
Wait a minute. I thought it does count. I thought that's why I added it. The Loved
Well,
One
no,
does
that's
count.
what we were talking about. This is what I was away when you guys were doing this stuff, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. But I saw these things going back and forth. I'm like, well, I thought whenever we went retro, we always said that, no, it's going to be the year that it came out then. Like this year, for instance, we're talking about movies that may have came out, or when we did the best of, may have come out last year. And the Apocalypse has 2017 stamped on it. You know what I mean?
Record of Sweet Murder, 2014.
So like this is where I'm going with it. Like you've got to, at some point when you're doing a retro, how do you keep all of that in line? So usually that's when it falls into place and just says, well, The Loved Ones was made and released in 2009. Yeah, it wasn't available for us to see until 2010 or 11. However, we've got to figure this out because that will be on my list. Okay.
It's figured out. I had I made that list. The last qualifying movies, unless someone's just gonna, I don't think anyone's gonna bring anything to the table out of nowhere because we have the message thing on Facebook and no one said anything. Oh, this is it. This is what's here. So just to clear that up, these ones count: Dead Snow, The Loved Ones, Wreck 2, The Human Centipede, Triangle, High Lane, Pontypool, Lake Mungo, and the Poughkeepsie Tapes. They're all officially added. Their dates on the B were 2008 or 2009, but when you look at it and you see what the release dates are, they were all 2010 or greater. So that's when we watched them all. That's when everyone saw them. So they are all in. I don't think anything else is going to come in on top of that. If someone brings something to the table, they're probably going to be the only one that knows about the movie, and it's not going to make the list anyway. But see, these are substantial. I didn't go through every single. I saw some other things on there, but I'm like, well, these aren't going to make the list. You know what I mean? These are movies that even if they're not going to make my list, I know that there's substantial movies in the genre that people like. Like Dead Snow's not making my list, but I know people like that movie. You know what I mean? So be it.
The Loved Ones, I was very high. It was my favorite film of that year.
Okay,
so,
well then it's making your list and mine. I'm sure it's going to be high up. So
that's why I want to check. You sent that. Did you put that to everybody?
Yep, I sent that to us, and then I sent it to the top 100, which somehow you pulled out of on the messenger thing on Facebook. Yeah, you.
I left a lot of groups, but I didn't know I left that one.
You left that one. Well, I didn't want to fucking overstep my boundaries, so I didn't say nothing. I figured maybe we were taking a break from it.
We celebrated.
Yeah. Yep. God, I hate you.
You're next.
Okay. You're next. Next show, all we have on the plate that we know of, Mark L. has given us the Borderlands. That's all we have at this particular moment.
That's not also Final Prayer, is it?
Correct.
It is.
2013, so that's the one. Yep,
okay.
I wasn't sure. But because he said 2013, yes.
Cool. Never seen it. Looking forward.
Okay, I did see it. I'm looking forward to seeing it again.
Borderlands.
Okay.
It gets high praise. It's a found footage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it?
Where is it? I don't know, but I didn't look that far yet. But I'll let you know. But all I know right now is the Borderlands. That's all we know. If no one else picks anything else for us, we might have the first show in a while. Besides the list show, the top 19. Well, we might just pick something and watch it. We'll see what happens. Patrons, if you want us to get on something, get on there. If you want to tell us to watch something and you're not a patron, join the Patreon. That's coming. So, Patreon.com.
Or don't join the Patreon. Tell us and we'll ignore you. You're next.
Yes, you're next. Patreon.com/explodingheads. Hope to catch a lot of you there after show 100. But that's a whole other story indeed. But for right now, that's all I can tell you. That next show, the Final Prayer, is something we're going to cover. And the Final Prayer, I said? Is that what it's called? Whatever. The Borderlands.
Borderlands. I think it's called Final Prayer.
Right. Okay. So that's what we know for sure. That's all we have at the moment. So who knows? Maybe next show we get crazy. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. There's no crazy people around here.
All aboard the crazy chain.
What movie?
Nice. Yeah, B, what movie? There's no crazy people around here.
Oh, please stop. Don't ask me. I don't know anything anymore.
Okay.
My brain is so fried from all these movies that I've been watching. I can't remember anything. Wait, do it again. My brain is so fried. What?
There's no crazy people around here.
Is this all
Told you
right?
to sit on it, Tonto.
See, we both said the same. We both said sit on it, Tonto. That should give you enough. We both are fucking saying this shit verbatim.
I know, shit.
Cool it, coaches.
Oh, this is Friday 1.
Yay!
Yeah.
He stays on the show.
Yeah. Okay.
It was make or break.
Colombian gold, man.
That's right. What's his name? When the cop comes.
Would you get off a spaceship? Yeah.
Stephen Dorff, his name is.
Stephen Dorff.
Dorff on golf. Yes.
Dorff. Don't you want to see Stephen Dorff, Brad Dorff, and Dorff on golf do a movie?
No.
Fuck you.
I always confuse them too. I always confuse Brad Dorff and Stephen Dorff, and I always confuse those Franco guys. All those Francos. There's a Joe Franco, isn't there? There's a Jess Franco, and
There's a
John...
Vince Franco that I do a podcast
Yeah,
with.
there's him. There's Vince Franco.
James Franco, Dave Franco,
There's all these Francos, and I don't know what the difference is between them.
Franco Colombo,
Franco American.
Rainbow Colombo,
Remember Franco American?
regular Colombo.
Who the hell is Franco American?
Franco American used to make like canned pasta, I think, or pizza. Oh, wait a minute here. Well, you're Canadian, so you don't know what fucking Franco American would be.
Fucking
So
Franco American.
but I do know what alphagettis are. So I mean, hold on, Franco American. Let me see what it is. It is spaghetti. I knew it. Yes. You never saw this? Look it.
All I see is like, no.
Spaghetti and meatballs. B, you know what that is? Franco American?
It vaguely sounds familiar, but I prefer Franco Colombo.
I don't know what that is.
Franco Colombo, he was a bodybuilder.
Oh, shit.
And then you got regular Colombo, who solved the...
I gotta get out of here.
I can't
Get out
take
of
these
here.
fucking jokes.
I gotta get out of here. Okay, let's get out of here. Franco American. Okay.
You just
All
broke
right,
my
guys.
will to live.
Simply nothing more to give. Yeah.
Just positive chain of thought. Okay?
Train of
Yes, we'll
thought.
be
Chain
we'll
of thought.
be you on that. Yes.
I'm giving you everything wrong now.
See you guys next time.
Thank you, listeners.
Peace.